What's up, everybody? You are very welcome along to That's Football. Obviously, I am not Mark Goldbridge. I'm Ballbridge, but Mark Goldbridge will be along in about half an hour's time. He's obviously just wrapping up this stuff after United drew 1-1 with Southampton. We're all here today to have a little look at Arsenal and Chelsea and see quite how badly Arsenal are going to have their asses handed to them today. It is interesting. The team news is in. I will, of course, go through the starting 11. My real name is Craig, by the way, for those of you who may not know me. You'll hopefully get to know me by the end of the season. And it is a pleasure to be here with you guys. Thank you for bearing with me. I hope that you're all well. Hello there, Anfield Agenda. My very own channel's in the house. Look, you love the support. It's almost as if I was doing it myself, which, of course, I'm not, because I'm not talented enough to do two things at once. Yes, mate, Mark is coming on later. He's just wrapping up the United stuff. And then myself and Mark will be together. We'll be doing the joint watch-along of the Arsenal-Chelsea game. Starting 11s are in. Let me know what you guys think. Of course, any United fans in the chat that want to talk about your result, feel free. If you want to talk about Manchester City's, we beat them 5-0. Who cares? Nobody cares. No one cares that you won 5-0. We all only care about the real football clubs. Isn't that right? We're all together on this one, folks, yeah? We look at Liverpool, we see a real club. We look at United, we see a real club. We look at Chelsea. Well, some of you are probably on the fence on that one. But look, we'll leave that for another day. How are we? Surely you'd want an Arsenal win. Look, what I want and what reality will be are probably two different things. So, yeah, on paper, United fans, Liverpool fans, we probably want an Arsenal win. But when we come to reality, is it very likely? I'm not going to say it isn't. It is very unlikely, let's be honest. Look, let's have a look at the starting 11s first and foremost. So, Arsenal have gone with Leno in goal, Suarez, Holding, Mari and Tierney. Then it's Lokonga, Xhaka, Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli and Pepe. So, front four, semi-decent enough. Midfield, I'm still to be convinced. Xhaka, I still will never understand why they gave him a new contract. I just never will get it. Chelsea's team, though, if you look at that, it is so much stronger. Mendy, Azpilicueta, Christensen, Rudiger, Alonso, Kovacic, Jorginho, James, Mount, Havertz, and Lukaku. Interestingly, obviously, United fans will have maybe fond memories, maybe not so, of Romelu Lukaku, but he is back in the Premier League. He does look like a completely different player to the one that left. I mean, when he hit Inter, my God, did his form do well. But let me know your thoughts ahead of the game, ladies and gentlemen. Why isn't Chalobah playing? Says Mike. It's a good question, Mike. Thomas Tuchel spoke during the week about his belief of Chalobah. And, from what I've seen of the kid, he does look like a proper player, doesn't he? Obviously got himself a cracking goal opening day of the football season as well. But maybe rotation, maybe, I don't know, maybe he just wants to. Sometimes with a younger player like that, Mike, you just want to bring them in, give them a little taste and then bring them back out. So I don't know, but it is a good question. And what a player he does look like, Chalobah, by the way. I'm not going to look through any of your negative comments. I mean, I've been trained by Drawdy. Drawdy has trained me like a Jedi to ignore the negative comments and only play nice with the nice people. What have we got? Come on, you Spurs. Wrong game, mate. Wrong game. That accent is horrific. It is a beautiful accent. How dare you, sir? This is an accent that has charmed many a leprechaun over the years, don't you know? You wouldn't believe the amount of pet leprechauns I've been able to catch with my beautiful Irish accent. How is Werner not being sold yet? It is interesting, isn't it? I still think, believe it or not, maybe against all the odds here, but I think Timo Werner will eventually come good. I know. A lot of people go, relax there, egg boy. I know. I think he'll come good. He was brought in, obviously. It was close for us. I thought as a Liverpool fan, we might actually get Werner. Then Frankie Lampard got on the phone, sold him the Chelsea project. Chelsea put the bid in. He went to Chelsea. And look, last season, I don't know if a human being has ever been caught offside more times than Timo Werner was, but he doesn't have as much pressure on his shoulders now with Lukaku coming in. So maybe, just maybe, we'll see a bit more of Timo Werner this season with regards to his goal-scoring ability. But interesting that they dropped Lukaku straight in today, and I very much am looking forward to see how he gets on against the likes of Mari and Rob Holding. Thanks for coming live early, Craig, says Mike. My pleasure, sir. Thank you for being here with us. Don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, if you are new to That's Football, or maybe you just haven't hit the subscribe button yet, as you can see, the channel has gone past 500,000 subs. And Did I love the fact that it was me that was here when we did 500,000 and Mark's 3 years of building up to it? He missed out on it so I could wind him up. You know me. You know I did. You know I was immediately texting him going, uh-oh, 500,000 hit when I was on the stream, Mr. Goldbridge. But then he just reminds me that he knows all the famous people and I'm a nobody. And then I just got a dose of reality again. So there we go. Arsenal have a pretty good game. I think you mean team. I know we banter Arsenal and all that, but I still don't understand. And look, I want to know your thoughts on this, ladies and gents. Arsenal have gone out there and let's say spent, on the cautious side, 135 million. Now, can we say with that 135 million, looking at what other clubs have spent, that they've got value for money and they've massively improved their starting 11? I would argue no. I mean, I think Ramsdale is nowhere near good enough of a goalkeeper. I mean, when you sell Martinez for what, was it 17 million or something to Aston Villa? I think they've brought in an inferior keeper to replace him. Then you bring in Ben White, who I do think is a decent centre-back, in a back three with two large centre-backs around him, because we know Ben White isn't great aerially, so I don't see how it would work in the system that they currently play unless they do switch to a back three and play that way. I have to say, Lokonga, for me, look, that's the great unknown. I don't know anything about the guy, so I'm going to reserve judgment on that one. But all in all, if you look at what United spent, in and around, 110, something like that, maybe, for the two players that you brought in so far, I would say that's much better business done. Manchester City don't count because everything they do is just irrelevant as far as I'm concerned. You look at Chelsea there, 97 million for Lukaku, but you can immediately see how Lukaku was going to come in and improve that team. They're looking at maybe the likes of the kid from Sevilla, what's his name? The centre-back from Sevilla, whose name I suddenly forgot, but I've always remembered. What's his name? Jules Koundé. Yes, excuse me, Jules Koundé. They've looked at him potentially coming in, and they're still talking about one or two more. So I don't know that Arsenal have improved. That's the problem. Like, if I'm an Arsenal fan, which by the grace of God I'm not, I'm looking at the money the club has spent after moaning about the lack of investment and stuff from Kroenke, and rightly so. And I'm thinking, at best, maybe one position's worth of increase in that league table. I just wouldn't be that confident. And look, this is coming from me, a Liverpool fan, who we've only signed Ibrahim Konate, and I'm still going into the season more confidently. Right, what else have we got? Oh, look at all these. Look, there must be a lot of hungry people in the chat. A lot of people seem to be wanting eggs for some reason. I don't know how you take your eggs. How do you like your eggs in the morning? See, I can be cheesy as well. So how about this? I won't sing if the baldness jokes don't come in, because I don't mind being called bald. I'm perfectly aware. Look at it. It's a magnificent head. Right, any comments? Let's get them in, folks, before the game. Where was this one? There was one I wanted to pull up a second ago. Where Arsenal haven't bought in the positions they needed, such as a striker, which I think is a very, very good point. And that was kind of what I was saying a few minutes ago. I don't know if I can look at the money that Arsenal have spent and say that they've actually increased the chances of themselves getting a European place. I really don't. But let's have a look at the results as well over the weekend. Obviously, my team, the mighty Liverpool. You know, I know you're all really Liverpool fans out there. Handy win for us yesterday. 1-1 draw away at Southampton for United today. City got their annual 5-0 win over Norwich, which doesn't really count. And then I suppose we're going to have a look at Arsenal today against Chelsea. So, some big games to come. And I'll be here tomorrow night as well, by the way, for the game between West Ham and Leicester, which I'm actually really looking forward to. I think that's going to be a really good game. Hello, everyone, to Delwyn. Nice to see you in the chat, mate. Always a pleasure. Chelsea 11-0. I like your style, mate. I mean, I don't think any of us want to see that much of a slot. Well, maybe we do. Can you imagine the fun? I had planned on not doing much this evening, but if Arsenal do get a real kicking, I might dictate it. And a special hour just on Twitter, just to wind them up a little bit. Just a whole hour for it. What's your top three to end the Premier League? I don't know about top three, but what I will say is I don't think the top four will be any different from last year. I still think it'll be some form of City, Chelsea, Liverpool, United in some order. I don't know what order yet, obviously. Piero's going for a 2-1 win for Chelsea. Look, it's going to be interesting because I don't know if you've seen this yesterday. There was an image floating around Twitter, and you always have to take these things with a pinch of salt when they're going around Twitter. But I don't know how how full the Emirates is going to be. Because did you see the amount of tickets that seem to be still available yesterday? And I know that there was some talk around the Etihad not being full as well, which, you know, isn't unusual, even though there will be camera angles by Man City fans trying to show you that the place was full and all that stuff. It seemed that there were still loads of tickets available for this game over the last couple of days, which is a real shocker. Could do with Lukaku to score today to save my FPL, said somebody else in the chat. Why no Mark for Sunday football? He will be here, don't worry. He's just wrapping up some stuff on the United stand, and then he'll be over to join me, and we'll be doing a co-watch along of this game, and then I'll be back on my own tomorrow night, as I said, for West Ham against Leicester. Arsenal 4, Chelsea 0. Wow, that is the Etihad was full. It wasn't though, mate, was it? I mean, you can pretend it was. We can do the game where you tell me the Etihad was full, and I smile and nod, or we can play reality and know that it wasn't full. Where are the mods? I can do mod. I'm logged in. I can be a moderator, but I'm trying to be nice and I'm trying to let people not be kicked out. You know, I'm trying to. If this was on my channel, there would be Excalibur, which is what I call it when I use the block button everywhere. But I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to win people over with some kindness here, rather than just blocking people in the chat. Why am I hating on Arsenal? I'm not hating on them. It's just not my fault to shite. I mean, I'm not hating on Arsenal. I've loads of Arsenal supporting mates. But even they're aware of, you know, the fact that they are at this moment in time a shadow, pale imitation of what they used to be. So I'm not hating on Arsenal. I've got nothing against Arsenal. If anything, I've only really showed hate towards City, I think, since this stream started. Why are they doing egg? Because I have no hair and they think it's really funny. You know, really original, but it is funny, to be fair, because, you know, I've never seen it before. So, you know, you take the good, you take the bad, and that's the best of life, isn't it? Right, look, ladies and gentlemen, give me your score predictions. I can't remember in the Battle of the League tables what me and Mark had, but I'll tell you what I had for this game, because I do have the scores I sent over to him. So my prediction on this one was a 2-1 win for Chelsea. Yesterday I got a couple of results right. I got Leeds 2, Everton 2 right. I know Mark got the 5-0 for Manchester City over Norwich right. So I think in our head-to-head competition throughout the season, we could be close, you know. Could be a pretty close one. So my result on this one that I predicted during the week when we did our score predictions was a 2-1 win for Chelsea. So let me know what you guys think in the chat. Robert's going 2-0 to Chelsea. I like it, Robert. Some people going a lot heavier than that, but I think yours is fairly realistic. What else we got? Mike, another 2-0 to Chelsea. Oh, this is clever. Now, where's it gone? Oh, I want to give credit to this because, let's be fair, I do love a bit of banter, and this one was clever, and I can't find where it is because the chat on here moves so quickly. Where's your man's comment gone? I want to give him credit for it because it was a belter, to be fair. Where is it? Or is it? I can't find it now. There, this one. Look at him. That's brilliant. Go, well done, mate. I mean, that's banter. I respect it. Arsenal 0, egg, Chelsea 3. I love it. Genuinely. That's my type of banter, mate. Well played. If Arsenal win today, can you do my girlfriend? Jeez, relax now, mate. I mean, I can understand why you'd want me to, obviously. I mean, look, who wouldn't want all of this? But now I'm happily married, thank you, with my missus for 20 years. Although how anybody can put up with me that long, I do not know. Again, 2-0 to Chelsea. Not a lot of love for Arsenal so far in the chat with regards to the score. What's your opinion on White being dropped? It is interesting. I mean, I was fully expecting to see White in the starting 11. Thunderbolt 114 when the 11s came out. But is it that he's being dropped, or is it that he just doesn't think that he's good enough to come up against Lukaku today? Because my guess would be that he's gone for Holding and Mari because they think that they will be better for the aerial duels or the physical duels maybe than Ben White, who is still finding his way in that Arsenal team, obviously having joined for 50 million quid from Brighton. So I wouldn't say he's dropped. I would just say it's more kind of horses for courses kind of thing. I know we're a bit vicious as football fans a lot of the time when we use the words like dropped and all, but I think it's more a case of just Mikel Arteta looking at what he's up against today and what centre-backs you think will do the better job. Look, we do have somebody here going, look, 2-1 to Arsenal. There we go. Teddy Rules 1's gone 2-1 Arsenal. Fair play, mate. What's this one say? If Lukaku's still worth for such a huge amount of money, is Lukaku still worth it for such a huge amount of money? Well, look at it this way. Manchester City are willing to pay in excess of £100 million for Harry Kane, who I think is about a year older than Lukaku. If I'm right, and I could be wrong by a year or so, I think Lukaku's around 28 years of age. Now, he's a 28 that I think will probably play till he's 33, 34. So if Arsenal, or excuse me, if Chelsea are willing to look at this and go, right, there's probably a very low probability of us making this transfer and then selling him on down the line, then, you'll get 5 or 6 good years out of him. And that's the type of thing that somebody like Roman Abramovich could do. Would my club Liverpool do that? Absolutely not. Because Liverpool would look at it and go, there's no resale value there. There's no way we're going to spend that much money. And there's some pros and cons to this, of course. Pros are, if you do it, you're bringing in somebody who's Premier League ready, who's in the prime of their career, who's coming off the back of a tremendous goal-scoring season, full of confidence. And United did it before with Robin van Persie as an example. And look how well that worked out for Manchester United. Whereas I don't think Liverpool would make those kind of moves. Thiago aside, he's probably the exception for us. And even at that, it was, 25 million quid spread over 4 years. So very, very little outlay. Right, what else have we got? We want you. None of that Mark Goldbridge nonsense. Oh, finally a positive comment towards me. Whoop, whoop. No, look, Mark's a good friend of mine, and we get on really well, which is the reason why we do these shows together. So, United are just sorry, I was going to say United. Mark's just finishing off the stuff on the United stand, and he will be in to join me just before kickoff. So don't worry, I'll have both of us here to have a laugh for the game, and hopefully keep you guys up to date with what's going on. Have a little bit of fun. See, here's a good question that I want to answer. Is Jack Grealish really worth 100 million quid? And look, I'm going to be honest with you, mate. The answer to this question, in my mind, is twofold. He's only worth 100 million quid to 2 clubs, to Manchester City and to Aston Villa. The reason he's worth 100 million quid to Aston Villa is abundantly clear, because they have to take into account what they're going to lose from their squad and how they will replace him. And as you heard Christian Perslow say, they believe it would take 3 players to replace him instead of just the one, which is why they went out and signed Buendia, Ings, and the kid from Leverkusen, Leon Bailey. So they can understand why it was worth 100 million. Would I pay 100 million for Jack Grealish? No, not a chance in hell. He is a very, very fine footballer. But if I walk up tomorrow and Liverpool have paid 100 million quid for Jack Grealish, I would think that Michael Edwards has lost his damn mind. Now, that doesn't mean I don't think he is a fine footballer. He is. And he is, he would probably get into any starting 11 in the Premier League, or most starting 11s. But 100 million, I don't see it. I don't see any club outside of Manchester City being willing to pay that. And look, it's a moot point now because they have paid it. He is their player, and time will tell if it's value or not. But I don't think anybody who realistically keeps track of the numbers and tries to live within their means would pay 100 million for Grealish. I just don't think he's a 100 million quid player. Probably worth about 60, I would say, at a push. But a fine player. I'm not trying to say he's not a very good footballer. What's this one? With Van Dijk, could Liverpool challenge for the title? Yes, we could challenge for the title, but look, I really don't know. I don't, even with my optimistic hat on, I don't know what this season is going to entail. Partly, obviously, because we've got about 9 days left in the transfer window, or what is it? 9 days, 6 hours, something like that left in the transfer window. I don't know till I see what business is done by the end of the window. As things currently stand, I would say yes if everything fell into place for us. If we didn't pick up any injuries, if we didn't have any major catastrophes, we could challenge. But I'd say we're far more likely to go deep into the European Cup. But we've always been a club, Liverpool, when our backs are against the wall and we've been written off, that have come out and I've come out firing. And it is going to be a very open title race this season. But look, Manchester City already playing catch-up after 2 games. Now, I know they'll make those points up, but my point is, United dropped some points today. City dropped some points today. Liverpool have had 2 relatively handy games to start off the season. Now, let's say we went through next week, went into the international break after getting a good result against Chelsea, then I'm going to feel a bit more confident. But I suppose the long-winded answer to say, I think there's probably 4 clubs that can genuinely say they're going to challenge for the Premier League this season. And after that, Champions League is somewhat of a lottery, isn't it? Depending on the draw, one bad decision in a game, a red card, anything can happen. It's a lot less predictable. What's your score prediction for Arsenal versus Chelsea? I went for a 2-1 win to Chelsea, mate, in my score prediction. I just think that with the strength on the pitch and the strength on the bench, I just think they will be too strong for Arsenal. But this could be the perfect opportunity for Arsenal to really step up and show what they can do, because it's fair to say they flattered to deceive. A lot of questions still hanging over Mikel Arteta's head, even from within the Arsenal fan base. I'm just going to see how the season plays out, and the old cliche: try and take one round of games at a time. Hasn't it been nice though? Even though my own manager moaned about it a bit yesterday, I've liked to have seen this season so far that the refs are letting a bit more go. That a few more tackles are being allowed to go, plays being allowed to develop a little bit more. I have to say, I've enjoyed this start of the season far more than I remember enjoying, well, for obvious reasons, last season for Liverpool. But even at the end, when Liverpool clawed their way back up the third spot, I still felt last season there was a few too many soft things being given, and I'm a bit more old school. And I've enjoyed the start of this season where clubs seem to be getting, or players seem to be getting a little bit more leeway to make a challenge or whatever. I suppose it's about getting that balance, isn't it? Dilla's going for a 2-1 Arsenal win. That would certainly be interesting for the title race, mate. And see, one reason why I wouldn't want that result is because, okay, there's one point me sitting here going, yeah, if Arsenal win, that would be great for Liverpool, it would be great for United, it would be great for City, yada, yada. But we're playing Chelsea next week, and also a wounded Chelsea coming to Anfield, with a point to prove could be difficult, because Tuchel against Klopp, they're always intriguing tactical battles, and the strength and depth that Chelsea have, and the way that they play the system, it's very good. Actually, now that I'm looking at the TV, I've forgotten that they've added Martin Odegaard in since we spoke with the players that they've signed. And I do like Martin Odegaard as a footballer. I just feel like he's made some wrong career decisions so far. So when he went to Real Madrid at 16 to join their B team, Liverpool were in for him at the time. He went to Madrid, never really got a look in there, ended up with a couple of loan spells, one of them at Sociedad, did well, ended up at Arsenal, and now signing for Arsenal on a full-time contract. And I just don't know if that's the right career move for him, because I don't know if it will stunt his development or not. Because I still think Arteta is unproven as a manager. It's one thing working under Pep Guardiola as his number two, but it's a whole another thing to take hold of a club like Arsenal, who I won't say need rebuilding from the ground up, because that's a bit harsh, but certainly are caught in that horrible space between 6th and 10th. That kind of the old Liverpool position, as I like to call it, because I spent many years as a Liverpool fan, hovering around the Europa League places and dropping below. And it takes somebody with a strong, firm hand and guidance to bring you back up that table, or a lot of good investment. Opinion on Aubameyang not starting. Well, look, we know that the situation with Aubameyang is that he's potentially on Barcelona's radar. And there was some talk of a swap for Felipe Coutinho, which just goes to show you how quickly they are trying to clear the books at Barcelona there. Griezmann, Coutinho, they can't get the lads out the door quick enough because of the wages, obviously. So Coutinho is on a very, very high wage, and I don't know what Aubameyang's wage at Arsenal is when he signed his new contract, but I would imagine it's fairly hefty. But even if I'm an Arsenal fan, I wouldn't be overly excited at the prospect of even that swap. So let's say you're thinking to yourself, Aubameyang hasn't been the same player, move him on. I just don't think that Coutinho will be the answer, because, having enjoyed Coutinho at Liverpool, hasn't really played since January because of a knee injury, has been hawked around Europe everywhere trying to get rid of him, and they can't give the guy away. So I wouldn't be overly excited about it, but it'll be interesting to see if he does come off the bench today. But it's also a good nod for Nicolas Pepe to show that the manager has faith in him, because they did pay a lot of money for Nicolas Pepe, and let's see if he can reward them with some goals. Can you and Goldbridge do a collab for the Liverpool United match this year? Would be absolutely hilarious. I think we're trying to figure it out, yeah. And whether that involves me flying over to the UK and us doing it together, or we stream it on one of our two channels, I don't know. But I think the plan is we are going to try and do a couple of collabs around the United Liverpool games this season, yeah. And I agree. I think it would be hilarious. What's the United score? Finished 1-1. Tevin 1-1, or Tevin, excuse me, 1-1. Pepe is rubbish. I don't think he is rubbish, mate. I don't. Again, I have a lot of questions around Arteta. So Liverpool, again, were linked with Pepe. We didn't pay the money that was wanted. Arsenal did. But I think there's a player in there. I just go back to what I've said before. I'm not sure if Mikel Arteta is the man to guide these young guys and these prospects through. Like, look at Saka. I'm very intrigued to see how Saka gets on there at Arsenal, because we all know Bukayo Saka is a fantastic footballer. Nobody doubts it. I wished when he was, I wish he didn't sign that thing when he was at Arsenal. I was hoping Liverpool were going to poach him. But they do have some good young talent. Smith Rowe, of course, as well. Martinelli, if he can hit the season and bang a few goals in, he might find some form. So it is an interesting one. We are, 3 or 4 minutes away from kickoff, ladies and gentlemen. So, again, I'll run you guys through the starting 11s one more time. Don't you worry, Mark will be on his way shortly. We'll be doing this one together. So let's have a look at the home team first. In goal, Leno. Then it's Suarez, Holding, Mari and Tierney. Lokonga, Xhaka, Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli and Pepe. Then it's Mendy, Azpilicueta, Christensen, Rudiger, James, Jorginho, Kovacic, Alonso, Havertz, Mount and Lukaku for Chelsea. So again, keep your score predictions coming in, ladies and gentlemen. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button bottom right-hand corner as well. And I will help you guys sync as well when we get underway, because we do not have a match clock, I believe, for this one. So I will, of course, help you guys sync when we get underway. And again, if you want to come over and show me a little bit of love at another time, you can check out me on Anfield Agenda or Craig Station as well, the 2 channels that I do. But you'll see me here all the way through the season, and I'll be covering tomorrow night's game between West Ham and Leicester, which should be an interesting game of football. 4-0 to Chelsea, Neo's going with. Mark's an United fan. He's just finished and he'll be in. Good stuff. Good stuff. I mean, fair play to him. I don't know many lads in the industry with the work ethic that Mark has, honestly. He baffles me every day. How I think he has more hours in his day than the rest of us, I'll be honest with you. Am I blocked from the chat? No, mate. If you can see your comment in the chat, you ain't blocked, and I just read it and seen it, so that means you're not blocked. What team do I support? Liverpool, mate. I'm a Liverpool fan. Don't hate me for that. You'll love me by the end of it. I've often got the comment, "You're the only Liverpool fan I like," which I'm happy to have, by the way. So even if I am the only Liverpool fan, I'll take it. Mark's coming now, Frank. Don't worry, mate. I know I'm not good enough for you feckers, but yeah, no, Mark's coming now, mate. But tomorrow it's just going to be me. So fair warning. Tomorrow, West Ham, Leicester City. It's just Ballbridge. There's no Goldbridge tomorrow. Just Ballbridge. But yeah, Mark will be in momentarily. Don't worry. And we are about to get underway here. And I will sync when you guys need me to as well. So don't worry. We'll have a bit of fun today. And again, keep your score predictions coming in. 7-0 prediction there from John for Arsenal to win 7-0. Oh, no, that's not him. Do I like eggs? I actually, funnily, genuinely, no, I don't. I know. You could say it's cannibalism or whatever if I did, but I genuinely don't like eggs anyway. I think you're fine, mate. Oh, I'm more than fine. I am fucking fantastic, mate. More than fine. I am stupendous. But yeah, I'll still take the kindness anyway. I appreciate it, mate. 1-0 to Arsenal, said Abalik. That's another positive prediction there for Arsenal. But look, we are about to get underway. So let's see what happens. It will be Arsenal kicking off, playing from left to right. Players are, of course, just taking a knee now before we get underway. And yeah, let's see what happens. Sun shining at the Emirates. Should be an interesting game of football. Arsenal are underway. Right, I will sync for those of you who need me to. Bear with me 1 second. I'm just waiting for Sky to start their L match clock, and then I will sync for you guys. Or have they started in the corner? No, I have to just check that and started it. Right, so 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. Hopefully that's okay for you guys if you need to sync. City, we have a City fan in the chat. Welcome, mate. Ball is back with Leno. What do you guys make of Leno as a keeper? Do you think that Ramsdale is a genuine upgrade on Leno, or do you think Arsenal could have spent the money better? Please do let me know in the chat. And obviously a lot of you guys will be having your eyes on your FPL points as well. That's the one part of all this stuff that always makes me feel a little bit dirty. There's nothing worse, is there, than when you're sitting at home and maybe your own team, you've had a poor result at the weekend, and you're looking at your FPL points and you're urging clubs that you hate and the players like let's say you're not a Chelsea fan, you're urging Chelsea to win so you get your Arsenal strike. Ooh, Mendy forced into a save there from Smith Rowe early doors. Yeah, there's nothing worse than when you have a bet on or you're waiting for FPL points for teams that you don't like, but you want them to do well, so you do well. Ramsdale is a banter signing. See, I would say that as well, mate, genuinely. But some people have pulled me up on that. I think he was at Sheffield United. He went to Bournemouth. They then bought him back from Sheffield United when United took Henderson back. And I couldn't understand that at the time. And then when I heard Arsenal were in for him, I was genuinely baffled. I couldn't believe. I thought somebody was winding me up. Anyway, Chelsea with that back three of theirs, just knocking it round. Rudiger in possession at the minute. Back to Christensen. I will let you guys know if there's anything particularly exciting to talk about. Jorginho still rocking the blonde hair. Who's your favourite player at Liverpool? Look, my favourite player was Bobby Firmino. He's always been my favourite player since he's joined, but obviously Salah is king at our club. But Bobby Firmino, probably followed by Van Dijk because it's Virgil van Dijk. Strike from the edge of the box, blocked. Any appeals there? Arsenal player down in the box. I think Xhaka took one to the face there. He's down already. El Capitan for Arsenal. He got in the way of the shot and looks like he's winded, or did he catch it in the face? It was Alonso rolled the ball across. Little touch from Reece James. Has a strike. Yeah, straight in the side of the head, to be fair. You can see why that would have rocked Xhaka. So hopefully he's okay. You can't be too careful with head injuries these days. R.I.P. Mark. See, I love that. I like that I'm winning one or two of you guys around. It's a long season ahead, so settle in. We'll all get to know each other as the season goes on. And again, Mark will be in momentarily. He's just, it's match day. It's really busy for him in the United perspective. So he's just wrapping up his few bits and pieces, maybe grabbing a drink or going to the toilet or something. So we'll be doing this one together. Don't worry. He'll be in soon. And again, if you need me to sync, it's 3 minutes, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. We are doing this one, as you can see, in StreamYard, so there is no clock to sync on this one. But don't worry, I'll keep you up to date. And if you do need any more syncing, please do let me know. Happy to do it for you. I don't know how yesterday, by the way, but on my own stream in the Liverpool game, Anfield Agenda, wink, wink, on my own stream, I somehow ended up singing the song Toxic about Mike Dean. I've got no idea where it came from or why it was there. Yes, he is, mate. He's going to be joining me momentarily. He's, he's busy. He's just wrapping up all the United content. And, as I keep saying, I don't think Mark has the same amount of hours in a day as the rest of us. I don't think he's human. But yes, he will be here very shortly. But until then, if you need me to resync or at, and please just ask. Happy to do it. And Chelsea are just knocking the ball around here. There hasn't really been much action. Mark's day lasts 25 hours. I swear it does as well. And I think he hangs upside down to sleep for 3 of them. I think that's something that these big-time influencers have that they don't tell the rest of us about. I think he wears them bat boots or whatever they're called and hangs upside down to sleep. Probably gets him the 3 hours convert to about 8 hours worth of normal sleep. Because I sleep for about 8 to 10 hours and I'm always knackered. But then again, look at me. I'm not the supreme specimen. I'm not the crossbar hitting left foot, right foot machine that Goldbridge is. I still can't believe he did that, by the way. If I had tried that with my bad foot, I'd have ended up breaking my hip or something. Lukaku, back to Mount. Strike, deflection. It goes out for a throw into Chelsea, left-hand side down near the corner flag. Again, one more time, we'll just do a sync for people. We'll wait till it gets to 5 minutes and then I'll call it out for you. So 5 minutes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Hopefully that's okay. Again, I do like Smith Rowe. What do we make of Smith Rowe? Do we like him as a player? Do we think that he's going to make it? I like the look of the kid. I have to say, I think he's a proper baller. I think Arsenal will win this one, says Young Pagan. Nice one. No, Werner hasn't started, Tomke, mate. He's on the bench. It's Kai Havertz, Lukaku, and Mason Mount in that attacking trio for Chelsea. Chelsea go all the way back to Mendy now. The only save of the game so far has been actually a long-distance strike from Arsenal that Mendy saved rather easily. Generational talent. I tell you, we throw that phrase around a lot, don't we? And I do it all the time at Liverpool players. God almighty, I must have christened at least 6 Liverpool players the next year or so far when they were coming through at underage level. If Arsenal lose tonight, will Arteta lose his job? See, I don't know on that one, because I always admitted from the start I didn't understand the appointment of Arteta, because, like, let's say Liverpool needed a steady hand. We needed rebuilding, and we needed a steady hand to guide us back up. We turned to, obviously, Jurgen Klopp, and over the course of 3, 4, 5 seasons, we always progressed and looked like we were challenging. United brought in a fan favourite in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, who at least had previous managerial experience and have started to back him. With Arsenal, you're taking a man who's never been a number one, only ever been a number two. And I have to say the recruitment to me has been questionable, to say the least. So, yeah, I don't know if the manager can be solely to blame. See, I don't know who's Arsenal sporting director or what way they work, who makes the signings, how much the manager's involved. Do I think White is a good signing? Look, I won't be a hypocrite. I did say at Liverpool, oh, here he comes. Let's add Mr. Goldbridge in, and then I'll just swap around. Oh, you're on the wrong side, Goldbridge. There you go.
Change it, yeah. Okay, let me just do that.
There we are. We were just calling you 25-hour-a-day Goldbridge there a second ago. There, look, we're the same height now.
I had to go and find something to kick in the garden for a few minutes before I came onto this.
So I'll play nice, Mark. Don't worry. I'll play nice with you, mate. I understand. You know, you can't win them all. Some of us can, but can't win them all.
I think that's the disappointing thing. You know, I saw the pundits talking about the great away record. I mean, funnily enough, we're watching a team like that. You can take your invincibles and shove it up your arse. I'm not bothered about being unbeaten away. I want to win. And that was just I'm just so disappointed in Solskjaer. You know, I do back him, and I've got people in the chat on United stand. Why are you not Ollie out? Well, it's too bloody early, isn't it, to be Ollie out for me? But it's like this club we're watching here. You know, you don't win a game and Arteta out, and I'm just not going to be that. But I tell you what, I am going to hold him accountable, because that was abysmal managing today. Really, really abysmal coaching today, and he's done himself a massive bit of problems there, because you know, there was a lot of positivity at the start of the season, and he's popped it in 2 games. So well done, Ollie. You put yourself under pressure there, mate.
To be fair, like, it is 4 points out of 6. It's not the worst.
It's just who it is. You'll smash Southampton. I think even Arsenal will smash out Southampton. Well, maybe not Arsenal, but they're poor. They're a really poor team. And the reality is, when we got 1-1 with half an hour to go, I thought we'd probably get 3 or 4. We didn't deserve to. You know, Southampton are not a good team. Everton put 3 past them in the second half last week. They're a poor side, especially in the second half. They're a poor side, and we didn't deserve it.
What are we thinking to this one? I think I was looking at my predictions beforehand. I went 2-1 to Chelsea in my predictions that we did during the week.
I haven't even got a glimpse of the team news yet, but I presume...
Oh, do you want me to call it out to you? Or?
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah,
no worries. It's Leno, Suarez, Holding, Mari and Tierney for Arsenal at the back. Then Lokonga and Xhaka. Saka, Smith Rowe, Martinelli and Pepe, so no Aubameyang. Then for Chelsea, it's Mendy, Azpilicueta, Christensen, Rudiger, Reece James, Jorginho, Kovacic, Alonso, Havertz, Mount, Lukaku, so no Timo Werner.
Yeah, that makes sense. That does make sense. I mean, look, to me, this feels a little bit like Man City against Spurs last week. You know, you expect Man City to win, but first home crowd for Arsenal. I think if the Arsenal home crowd needs to stick with Arteta and stop turning against him, because they do need that Spurs blueprint, really. But I would expect Chelsea to win. It might not be dominant, but I would expect Chelsea to win. No Ben White as well, which is interesting. Is he injured? Or?
Yeah. No, he's on the bench, I think. Well, I haven't looked on the bench. I just know he's not starting, and I wondered. If he's not on the bench, then I wonder. I was thinking, is it because of Lukaku? Were they dropping him because of the aerial duels? But yeah, that's a fair point. Let's see. Nope, not on the bench. You're right.
Interesting.
No Chalobah either in the Chelsea starting after a very good opening day performance and a goal.
I do think Lukaku will be a success at Arsenal, though. Do you? No, not Arsenal. Right. Chelsea.
I think it's as close to a guaranteed signing. I mean, yeah, I think without a doubt. All they were missing last year was the man to put the ball in the net. They did everything else.
Good run by Pepe there.
I think he'll have a better season this year as well for Arsenal. I think at the start, a lot of people we were chatting and they were saying that they thought he was terrible. I think he'll actually do a lot better this season.
No, I think
typical Arsenal.
I think he's a
typical Arsenal, though, isn't it? Getting a Aubameyang new deal and then doing the usual, disappearing off the face of the planet, be nowhere near the same player.
He's on the bench today, isn't he?
He is. Aubameyang, Maitland-Niles, Tavares, Chambers, Nelson, Elneny, Balogun, Kolasinac and Ramsdale on the bench for Arsenal. For Chelsea, it's Kepa, Thiago Silva, Kante, Werner, Chalobah, Zuma, Hudson-Odoi, Chilwell, Ziyech. Now look at the difference in those two benches.
We've got Ajit here. I'm tempted to call him Egypt because apparently Bruno cost us the game today. Yeah, football's not for you, mate. I don't like saying it like that when it's on the United stand, but on That's Football, I can be a little bit more loose-lipped because it's for everybody. If you think Bruno was the reason United didn't win today, maybe go and watch Downton Abbey because football ain't for you. Bloody Bruno. God. I don't know whether you get it in your fan base, but you get certain fans who just cannot help when we have a bad result. Go for the agenda. It has to be somebody. We lost. We did. Well, I say we lost. We didn't lose. We drew. We drew because of Ollie and his midfield. Simple as that. That's why we drew. We had enough players there to win the game, but we just couldn't get the ball to them enough because the midfield was useless and Bruno and Ollie's substitutions were useless. Simple as that.
Yeah, there's always, and I don't like this culture of blame as well. There's always a scapegoat with a player, one particular player, maybe the player who hasn't had the brilliance of usual. But look, I won't lie. I only watched the second half of United's game. I'm just sorry.
I would have turned it off if that had been Liverpool Southampton. I would have turned that off. It was shit.
Yeah. I mean, what I did say to Drawdy when we were chatting beforehand is very unusual to see the yellow shorts, but I thought they looked all right, to be fair. But then again, I do love a bit of yellow, being a Liverpool fan, for away shirts and away shorts.
Ronaldo's on the move, apparently. I don't know where this is coming from, but I'm seeing it enough. Cristiano Ronaldo will be on the bench for Udinese against Juventus. He's not starting. It was a precise request from Cristiano because he hopes to find the solution on the market in the next few days. But
Solution
Juventus
to what, though?
Wants to
That's
leave.
the thing. Why? Because, he's had a... See, this is where I stand on Ronaldo. Goal scoring machine, one of the greatest of our generation with Messi, no doubt about it. But, Father Time waits for no man. And is it because he's seen Messi go to PSG now and, surround himself with Mbappe and Neymar? And this is what I've lost a little bit of, not respect, but admiration for Messi, because I felt like he could have had a better move in his career, and it's purely just for more greed to try and get them Ballon d'Ors or Champions Leagues. Oh, there we go, 1-0.
Romelu Lukaku has got his goal for Chelsea. I've got him in my fantasy Premier League team, but my team's doing crap. But Lukaku,
14 minutes.
14 minutes. It's Arsenal. Arteta out, but it's a lovely goal. It's a lovely goal. I presume he's going to be onside, Craig. But
yeah, it looked like he was behind the ball to me initially when it went in from the right hand side. Look at the movement, though. Look at that. That's what you bought him for. That's what you bought him for, right there.
Kovacic as well is magnificent. The whole
actually he's on, but was the initial ball on?
Wow, yeah.
Would be my question.
He's very ahead of the play, Reece James.
He even knocked the defender over on the run in. He's that strong.
It's a. You know what? We watched Chelsea in the Super Cup, didn't we?
Yep.
They're very impressive down the flanks, and we spoke about crosses into the box and how a Lukaku would benefit, and it's taken him 14 minutes to benefit here, Lukaku. Lovely cross by Reece James, and I would have finished that.
Goal. Stands.
One goal. I've gone for golden boot for Lukaku, and I don't, like you said, I don't even think it's a dangerous thing to do. I don't. I think he will get so many goals like that at Chelsea. I think if anybody actually analyses Chelsea's missed chances last year, and of course you've got to look at Timo, they miss a lot of chances that he should have scored, and Lukaku will score them.
People in the chat were actually saying I was bantering Arsenal a bit too much before the game. I thought I was being nice. I genuinely didn't even think I was bantering them compared to how I'd usually talk. And
Chelsea,
you can see
Chelsea
why.
are just on a different level to Arsenal. I mean, look, anything can happen. Of course it can, but I think the problem with Arsenal is they're already beat before the kickoff anyway.
That was too easy, as we said. That was a very Chelsea-esque goal. And when you have somebody of the prowess now of Lukaku, the power and strength of Lukaku, you know, he held the ball up, laid it off, finished his run, knocked a defender, I think, on his way through, and timed his run for the tap-in. That's a prime striker right there.
Yeah, if you look back on that goal, you're right. He has it into feet, strength to hold it up, lays it off to Kovacic. Kovacic puts the ball around. He's spun. He's into that box. The cross is in front of him. Just very, very, very simple. We're at 16 minutes and 50 seconds. We haven't got a timer today because I've had to come over from United Stand stuff, but we're just about to hit 16:55, 56, 57, 58, 59. 17 minutes, bang on. Tapping Merchant says IMAC. Doesn't matter. It's still a goal, isn't it? And
you've got to be in the right place to put them in the net. That's what a striker does.
NMCC says, I hate when Chelsea get credited as the top club when all they've done is chuck money after money at players and managers, bought their success. And Donny should go to Arsenal, can play the 6 or 10 for them. Anthony, at this point, I'd love Arsenal to buy Donny van der Beek. You know, I'm so fed up with how he's been treated at United. I don't care where he goes, but he needs to go. He does need to go. But we were just talking about Ronaldo there as well. 1-0 to Chelsea here, straightforward goal from Lukaku. But apparently Ronaldo not playing for Juventus because he hopes to sort a deal out in the next few days. Where that would be, I don't even know where he could go, really.
Because didn't he come out and speak already and dismiss the Real Madrid stuff, say his story's been written at Madrid and he's spoken about his achievements there and whatnot. And so, yeah, where would he go? I mean, it looks like
That's
there's
the
a deal in place.
I think.
Well, looks like there's already been talks in place for Messi. Looks like after he does his couple of years at PSG, he's off to Inter Miami, but the sounds of things. And, you know, that was no secret. I think that was always something that everybody had hoped for. But I can't think where. Like, I mean, obviously, if it was United, you'd probably have a sniff of it at this point. You'd have known something, heard something. So yeah, I can't think of where it might be.
It won't be United because we don't need Ronaldo. Well, who doesn't need Ronaldo? But we've got so many players. It wouldn't be us. You wouldn't have thought it would be PSG because they've got so many players.
Can you imagine? I mean, we might as well just forget about football and start watching Super League or something. And by Super League, I mean rugby, because if they try to even pull that stunt,
the thing is, I don't think they'd win the Champions League with Messi and Ronaldo, because would they actually work together? You know.
What do you think of this whole tokens culture now that we've seen? So we even seen Inter Milan sponsored by Inter fan tokens, and clubs selling tokens to fans to help fund players, and, you know, NFTs and stuff like that. It's very dodgy ground. And if you look at how some of, if not all of the 2020, look at that strength there, by the way, from Lukaku.
I like how the defender tries to make out he's been fouled as well.
Yeah, he just bounced off him, basically. Yeah, it's a bit of a dodgy ground, this one, for me, this whole coins and NFT things around football clubs.
What is it like? I don't know how it works. I'm not aware of it.
Think of Football Index on steroids. So basically, Lionel Messi signed for Barcelona, signed for PSG, is £25 million signing fee. He can take that, or he can take it as coins, as in value on him. And Barcelona fans can trade and buy those coins, and they can go up and down like a Bitcoin, as an example. So if he, let's say, chose to take it all in coins and loads of fans bought it and his coin value doubled, the sign-on doubles. And Inter Milan have done it as well. If you even look at the front of the shirt sponsors this year, they're called, like, it's Inter Milan fan coins or something. It's another way of circumventing FFP, basically.
Yeah.
And making the fans pay for it as well, which is even funnier.
Fans want to pay for it. Well, this is the problem, isn't it? You know, Lukaku heads over the top, half a chance. This Chelsea team will beat Liverpool next week. Are you playing Liverpool next week?
Yeah, 5:30 Saturday.
Oh, it's a big Saturday, isn't it? It's Man City, Arsenal, and then it's Chelsea, Liverpool. I will be doing a watch along on this channel, but obviously Craig will be on Anfield Agenda. He won't want to, you know, you've got to be on your own for these things. It's like if it was Man United against Chelsea. So, yeah, it's a big Saturday, that.
It is. I think we're going to do the early game together, the 12:30 one. I think we said we were going to do that. That'll be fun. Yeah, it is. It's a huge Saturday. And then even, I think, am I right in saying later that night, you probably know interest, is Jake Paul's fight later that night?
I don't know.
I think he's fighting next weekend against Tyron Woodley.
There you go. I mean, I'm not as excited about next weekend as I was with United dropping. So Tottenham won as well. Wolves have lost 2. We've got them next week. Guaranteed they'll get a point against us then.
It's horrible though, isn't it? This third game, because like if you win, you don't want to go into an international break, and if you lose, you've got 2 weeks to wait before you can put it right, and you've 2 weeks of listening to people banter you.
Yeah, that's just a very disappointing draw for United. But yeah, I mean, Spurs, I've got to sit down a little bit there. Nuno's a manager I didn't think would do very well. He's taken 6 points from Wolves away and Man City at home. I wouldn't, you can't knock that really. Not conceded either. Typical Wolves,
in fairness.
Wolves style football.
I didn't even, what was Kane part of the squad today? I didn't even watch.
I saw him get off the bus.
That's a start. It's half the way there then. Let's have a look. He didn't start. Did he come on? Yeah, he came on 72 minutes.
Well, there you go. Yeah. It's a week on Tuesday, the end of the transfer window. So look, could be. I was just thinking about that. Man City need a striker. Imagine if Ronaldo went there. What a ball again here. He's got loads of room. Reece James.
He took that was wrong choice from Reece James. Lukaku's even saying. Lukaku's point where he wanted it. That was almost a carbon copy of if he had to play the first time, it'd be another 6-yard tap in.
Delightful ball. I think it's Havertz who switches it. Reece James is on all the time. And why has he not put that cross in for Lukaku? Cuts it back for Mason Mount.
I was thinking back. The goal for Lukaku, the opening goal. Last season, Werner probably wouldn't have got a yard early and be just about flagged offside. So he'd probably still put it in the net, but have gone half a yard early.
Tuchel buys Lukaku and starts him straight away. He trained fewer days than Sancho. Big coaches do what big coaches do. Ollie's mentality is too small, says Esquire KY. I agree.
Hey, look, think about how I'm feeling. A centre back. That's been our transfer window.
And you've not started him either.
Yeah, a centre back. Yeah, to be fair though, Matip and Van Dijk haven't really put a foot wrong, so I'm all right with not starting them. I mean, it's not unusual for Klopp to bed players in and take time. But I am interested to see if we do any business between now and the end of the window as well. So I think it'll be a busy 9 or so days, Mark.
I think it will be for Liverpool.
I think definitely 1 out, potentially 1 in, maybe 2 out. Our problem is freeing up the overseas squad place. So it could be a situation where it's a last-minute Jared Bowen push, or we get Shaqiri out the door, maybe Origi on loan, and we look to Europe for, I don't know, I'm just throwing random names out, a Jeremy Doku or somebody like that.
You linked to anyone?
Everyone and nobody at the same time, if you get what I mean. Nobody that I'd stand over and say, I can say we have, other than Harvey Barnes, which will be a down the line thing a year or two. I don't know of anybody. Saul's name seems to be changing every week. I mean, wasn't it Chelsea, the latest team linked to Saul? You were linked with him. We were linked with him. Barca were linked with him. And yet there he still is at Atleti with a week and a bit to go. I tell you, I watched Barca last night play against Bilbao, and it's almost embarrassing for the league, for the club. I mean, Memphis Depay scored a great goal to equalise. Don't get me wrong, but I mean, that tuning in to watch that was just like, it just hasn't got the same specialty or luster that it once had.
Arsenal just really not offering much at all here.
I was saying to the guys before you came on that Arsenal were a club in a similar position to Liverpool, maybe even to United, maybe somewhat a lesser degree United with the rebuild, but that needed somebody to come in that was going to either steadily improve them, coach 2 young players, or be a steady hand. And I don't think that they've actually achieved any of those things with Mikel Arteta. Maybe a couple of youth players coming through on Saka, but I wouldn't have been happy with that style of appointment at Liverpool. I mean, obviously we got lucky with Klopp, but I still would have wanted a Klopp and Ancelotti, somebody of that ilk to come in and help Liverpool get back to where they were. I don't see, even with nearly £150 million worth of investment, how Arsenal have improved much, if any. Maybe centre back White will come good, but other than that, I think it's a stretch to say they've even improved in this window.
Well, I was on about that this week, that Arsenal have spent more than Manchester United have, and at least, look, we've not bought everything we should have bought, but at least we've got quality players like Sancho and Varane, who on paper massively improved Manchester United. Like you say, Ben White, Ramsdale. I don't mind Odegaard, but it's not fantastic.
I think Odegaard has just made wrong decision after wrong decision in his career so far. Going to Real instead of Liverpool so young when he did, and never really getting a look in. Then at Sociedad he did all right. I don't understand why he thinks his loan spell at Arsenal will show that he'll progress there. Unless obviously we don't see what goes on the training ground. Maybe Arteta is a great coach and the players still starting to deliver him, but I don't know. I don't see it myself.
Chelsea swarming the Arsenal back four again here. This ball is on all the time and they just can't pick it out. It's gone for a throw in this time, but the angled ball to Reece James is the outlet for the attack of Chelsea every time.
What have you made of the new, I won't say new refereeing, but they have been letting a bit more go, a bit more physical in some of the challenges or coming together. And I've rather enjoyed it, to be honest with you, for the first couple of weekends.
We had a bad referee today for Manchester United. I mean, it was no excuse, but he was poor, very poor. But yeah, it's felt a little bit more like it was pre-VAR, actually.
Who was the ref for your game?
Oh, he's got blonde hair. I can't remember what his name is. Someone in the chat will tell us.
I'll have a quick look.
Oh, is Pepe? No, Rudiger. I think it's true with Pepe. Rudiger's just very confident against him, isn't he? He's not worried about him.
No, I can't find who it was.
Cross comes in. Not a bad cross. I mean, have Arsenal actually had a shot yet? They might get one.
Yeah, they had a shot early doors. Early doors, they forced Mendy into a save from distance, but nothing too dramatic. Here we go. Nah.
Kevin Friend was not the referee. It was Pawson, Craig Pawson, who was Man United.
Oh, yes, Pawson. Yeah, look, I don't have much faith in many Premier League referees at all, to be honest with you. And as I said, I only caught the last half hour or so of your game.
Well, there was a foul that Bruno, it wasn't even a foul. Bruno fouled this player, apparently, and he gave a foul. And then 2 minutes later, the same thing happened to Bruno, and he played it on, and they scored. Then Bruno got booked for complaining about it. And then in the second half, there was a foul on Bruno, which was the same as the Fofana tackle, where everyone goes, he got the ball, but it was a scissor tackle. And then Pogba got angry and fouled the player who did it, and he booked Pogba. And it's just like, just inconsistent refs. But to be honest, it wasn't. I just thought he was a bad ref. I don't think he had anything to do with the result. He didn't really impact the result. We're just about to hit 30 minutes if you want to sink in. We're on 29 and 47, 48, 49, 50. Most refs are shocking, says Roz. And 29, 56, 57, 58, 59. 30 minutes exactly. There you go. Lukaku has scored already, Blake. Yeah. Chelsea looking comfortable here. I mean, it is very much the game we thought it was going to be, where the away team, Chelsea, are on a different level to Arsenal, but they're, totally reliant on hype and crowd home advantage, really. So
they're screwed, basically. Let's be fair.
Well, it worked for Spurs. It worked for Brentford. It might work, but I just think Chelsea look more like they're going to score. He's got to whack that in again early. Lukaku, he's just behind him that time. It's on all the time, though. I'm telling you what, man, I'm getting worried already. See Lukaku making these runs and the space he's finding himself in. Did you know? Well, I've already mentioned it, that Arsenal's next game is Man City at the Etihad next week. Yeah, I remember when we did the opening game, the Brentford game together, we were saying if they don't get out now of this, they could be 3 games in with nothing. They could. their season starts in mid-September after the international break, they'll have no points. If they don't get anything today, they'll have no points because they, to be fair, who is gonna beat Man City at the moment at the Etihad?
Spurs at the Etihad, yeah. It's going to be interesting. I mean, I'm a bit nervous about next week, the visit to Chelsea, to Anfield. I won't lie to you, but we're usually up for these big games, and we certainly won't be giving them the space that Arsenal seem to be willing to give Lukaku. I mean, Van Dijk and Matip won't be allowing them that much space in the 6-yard box.
It's at the end of the day. I mean, look, if it's at Anfield, is it at Anfield?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to be losing that, but it is a big game that because two potential title contenders and Man City having dropped points to Spurs, they'll be keeping an eye on that. It's a chance to be the early pace setters as well. If you can win that game,
yeah. If we won that game, we'd be going into the international break ahead of City by at least 3 anyway. Which would be
interesting
fantastic.
If you did win that game, because I think, Liverpool last season was a bit of a write-off. Now everybody's back. You're used to winning a title. You've won a title. It'd be interesting if you could get away sort of thing, and how you deal with holding on to it.
I was speaking to James Pearce from The Athletic about this the other day. Hang on, Smith Rowe. Arsenal in the box. Yeah, I was speaking to James Pearce from The Athletic about it, and he said when he spoke to Jurgen Klopp and the Liverpool squad that they were almost loving the underdog tag. Being written off fuels them.
Yeah.
Oh, cleared again. Oh, through the back of Lukaku. Yellow card early doors. You can see his hold-up play, even just bouncing it off his chest to other players. What he brings immediately, that out ball, the runners that Chelsea are able to get in off Lukaku's hold-up play. It is when you've got players of the caliber of Kai Havertz and Mason Mount, being able to make those runs off, and then the fullbacks or I should say wingbacks playing as they do. It is frightening at times watching this Chelsea team flow.
His first game and he scored. Strap in, lads, says Kieran Hayes. Yeah, I've predicted he'll win the Golden Boot and he's missed the game already. What do you not say to a bold man in an argument?
Oh, 2-0.
2-0. You don't say that. Reece James, he's had a fantastic start. We've only had 34 minutes. I feel like they're in fourth gear here, Chelsea. It's cruise control. They are working, but they're not having to work that hard. And they're just infinitely better. They've just got quality on a different level here. Lovely finish.
Just spoke about the full-backs there bombing forward, and there he was coming in right-hand side. Bang. Good finish. Didn't even need to look for Lukaku. Just done that all himself.
Alonso. Let's have a look at how this works. It comes into Alonso. Lukaku.
Look at Tierney.
And it's Mount with the assist.
Look how narrow Tierney was there. No eye, no even look to see where.
Well, are Arsenal play? I just wanted to ask this because I missed the start. Are they playing a back four?
That just shows as a back four to me. Yeah, it shows Tierney at left back.
I've got to say this Arsenal myth that Kieran Tierney is a really good left back. I've never seen such a poor performance from a left back in a long time. It's like they're playing with 10 men. He's absolutely got the freedom of the Emirates. Reece James. He's got a goal and an assist. And I know Chelsea play a back five, but adapt to the system for God's sake. They're just getting pulled out all over the place. And I
fully agree with you as well. I don't think Chelsea have even broken a sweat yet.
2-0 to Chelsea. And you can almost say it's game over for Arsenal already. It's hard to know how good Chelsea are because they're playing Arsenal.
It's a fair point. I stand over it, whoever made the comment, or if it was just your thoughts. But either way, it's a fair point. Seeing people were saying I was banter on Arsenal before the game, I genuinely expected them to get turned over and quite easily. I just don't see who in that Arsenal team has a backbone. And I thought, like, people might say that's being harsh, but I could go through the Liverpool team, I could go through the United team, the City team, and I can point you out 3 or 4 players that simply wouldn't let this type of stuff happen, would grab the game with a scruff of the neck or slow it down or, just command. Even Lukaku at Chelsea, look at all the talking he's doing since he started the game, directing where he wants the midfielders to be.
Yeah, I agree. Who scored? Reece James, Kian. It was Reece James. It's not bad for a bold guy, not as handsome as Mr. G, says Goldbridge Fangirl Society. Yeah, we didn't get the punchline on the joke. I can't remember what it was now. But we got the punchline for Arsenal. Reece James, 2-0.
Arsenal are always the punchline, mate. Always.
They've not scored a goal yet this Premier League season. We know they're going to have 0 points at the end of this first 3 games, but are they going to have 0 goals? Arsenal play City next week. Yes, they do. Arsenal won't get relegated. They won't get relegated, but remember, they've got fans who think that they are going to get top 4.
Well, they've just spent, 130, 140 million quid to go sideways?
Yeah. 8 minutes to go to half-time. It's funny how deluded Arsenal fans would rate Tierney over Shaw. Reece James has had him on toast the entire game.
I've even tried to say, because of the Scottish connection, obviously, I've even tried to listen to them say he's better than Andy Robertson, which is just a joke, to be fair.
Oh, no. I don't know why they rate him.
Smith Rowe.
Shaw and Robertson is madness.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. It is absolutely ridiculous. Like, lads that have proven it, done it, been there, have a backbone. I'm not saying Tierney doesn't have a backbone, by the way, but he's not a leader. I'd look at, certainly I can speak from a Liverpool perspective, I'd look at Andy Robertson as a leader.
I just think, hold on a minute, Mount, little cross.
Oh, look at that, unlucky. I tell you what, that was Techers to go old school, Mark.
Varane's long passes and switches could have been the difference today to release Martial or Greenwood. He could have even blocked Adam's shot properly, says Sky. How does financial fair play never come up when people talk about Chelsea? They've spent a lot of money over the past 2 summers, says CJ's Musings. I was going to say to you, if Arsenal did sack Arteta, which obviously is always going to be their fans' answer because they never have anything more in depth than sack a manager. They don't want to look at anything else like players or owners or anything like that. If they were to bring in a Zidane or a Conte, is there going to be a massive change in the way that Arsenal play when you look at that squad, in your opinion?
Not really. You'll always get the new manager bounce, but I think it goes back to what I said a moment ago. Whatever new manager comes in there is going to want to rip that squad apart very quickly. And like the question is, somebody said during the week, do a combined 11 of Arsenal and Manchester or Arsenal Chelsea. And the person who did it, I think, saying nothing there, Mark. What do you think? Initial thoughts?
Well, Saka, as long as you don't let him take it, he wants a penalty.
Let's have a look.
It's Reece James.
It's hard to know what. It's hard to know what this season is it?
It's not deliberate, but it probably is. I would say, if that happens to United, I'd want a penalty.
Well, you're getting one. Let's be honest. If it happens to you a lot, you're getting one.
I think they're going to give it.
They're looking at it.
I think it will be given. I think that is a penalty.
They are looking at it, certainly.
No. Oh my God.
Well, this is going to be the debate, isn't it now? This is going to be it. this is going to be how far have the rules changed? Like how far have they swung in the opposite direction? Are they overcompensating?
Well, no, we've already seen penalties given this season for.
Why is the ref not being asked to have a look at that? That annoys me.
That is a penalty. I'm sorry. I mean, I laugh at Arsenal, but that is a penalty. I can't argue with that. That is a penalty. Like he does put his foot there and trip him.
That's why I said to you what initially happened, and Paul Tierney waved it away. What do you think? Because to me, it looked like there was a connection, and not. It wasn't like Saka engineered the connection or looked for it. He was clipped.
Yeah. Well, some people are saying it's not a penalty. It's always subjective, but for me, it was a penalty, and I don't want I find Arsenal losing very funny, as many people do, but it's I'm very surprised, very surprised.
I have to say I'd be screaming at the television now if this was us next weekend against Chelsea and that wasn't given, and Liverpool. I will be screaming at the television.
I'd have to see it again. Well, I'm sure we'll see it again at half time. And obviously, slow motion makes everything look worse. I must admit, when I first saw it, I thought it just, is a bit innocuous. But I think when you look at it on VAR, of course. But I just think there has been penalties already this season where it's been. I'm trying to think of one. Somebody in the chat will know. But the penalty's not been given anyway. We're playing on. But I think they're a little bit unlucky there, Arsenal.
Sometimes I wonder now, are they looking at the connection along with where the ball was and the likelihood of him getting onto it and doing something? Does that matter, do you think, in the decision making these days?
I just think it's all about, if it's soft, we're not going to give it. But if Jamie says he fouled himself, I'd have to look at the connection. If he trips himself, it's not a penalty, but something definitely trips him. But it looked like a penalty to me, but it's not been given.
Might be the weight of carrying the rest of that Arsenal team on his back, Mark.
Might be, yeah. Anyway, theoretical perception says it's not. They don't need luck at Arsenal. They need a miracle, which is true. They've got a corner here. I mean, I just don't see a way back. As I said, I even feel like they're in.
It's even rain. It's even rain. God's even angry now. Look, it's raining. He's even annoyed about having to watch Arsenal.
They're. I don't feel like Chelsea are even playing their best. Alonso clears it. But yes, Lukaku's got his first goal. Arsenal will be battling for relegation. Well, they will be bottom of the league in mid-September. They will be bottom of the league.
Rudiger, he loves it, doesn't he? He loves it.
He does.
I love that man. I do. He absolutely loves a wind-up.
Holding's been booked as well.
Look at him. He's delighted.
He's the sort of person, you hate playing against him, but you'd love to have him in your team.
Oh, absolutely. If he was in my team, I'd be patting him on the back. So well done.
I'll tell you what, I think that should have been a red. He's very lucky.
Trailing leg caught him, but yeah trailing leg was off the ground.
It's not a red, but it could have been a red. Because the way he went in that, it was definitely frustration.
You can see why, in fairness, that Chelsea were upset about it. I mean, obviously Rudiger would have been close to that. So initially we missed it. I didn't really get what the fuss was about. But when you see the replay, you can understand why he was sticking up for his mate.
Yeah, definitely. Martin says it's a red. He hardly touched him, says Lewis. No, I would
not call that a red. No,
I don't think it was a red, but I think if it had connected with him, he might have got one. Arsenal was robbed of their goal of the month. Yeah, they need those penalties.
That's brilliant.
Well, they did get their goal of the month last October? They beat us 1-0 at Old Trafford. It's their result of the season, but it was their goal of the month because they scored no other goal. It was Aubameyang's penalty was their only goal of the month, so it was their goal of the month.
That's peak. That is.
Mwah. They won't have a goal of the month for August. They'll have to claim one of Chelsea's, Brentford's. Take Brentford's because it's more of a giant killing.
Yes, Sergi Canos, goal of the month. Well done.
Remember they're doing the old Amazon Prime as well.
Oh gosh. They'll have to reclassify that from sports documentaries to comedy or comedy
says,
docuseries.
Arsenal's unfixable. They need 7 or 8 good players. The fans think they're still big and have unrealistic expectations. You know what? If I felt like standing up and applauding, but I will sit and applaud. I think you're spot on. I don't think any manager changes the situation at Arsenal. I think that they are a club in dire straits. It's not just about their manager. I mean, I'm not saying that the manager's the right man, but it just makes me laugh how Arsenal just always automatically go for their manager. Like Emery out. And then he goes and wins the bloody Europa League with Villarreal. You know, is that not the sort of level of manager that you would actually want? Like, no, we think we're better than that. Arteta out. They never seem to look at what the real issue is.
The man owns the Europa League. Owns it with Sevilla.
He's only blip in his career is Arsenal, really.
I shouldn't be laughing, but it's so true.
It is.
Half time. I wouldn't even give them a cup of tea, Mark. I wouldn't even give them one.
Do you think Arsenal's fixable, though? I mean, you know, do you think it is actually fixable at Arsenal?
Yes, but a very, very. I think an Antonio Conte, or you know, it will take a steady hand, somebody who will want more control, I think, than maybe Arteta has at the club. And somebody who will want to come in and say, I don't know if they have a transfer committee. I don't know if they have a director of football at Arsenal, but you know they need somebody to come in there that's going to take overall control. Like I think they won't like me saying this, but I think a Rafael Benitez wouldn't have been the worst thing in the world for an Arsenal at one point. Antonio Conte, as we said, but can you attract them? Like you're going to have to overpay, and then you're in the transfer market. You've got that vicious gamble of you either have to overpay for semi-decent talent or take gambles on potential talent and hope it comes through. It's a difficult. We were stuck in that cycle at Liverpool for many years, and it took a Jurgen Klopp, it took a generational manager for us to get out of it, with some good, business as well,
and some good business. Yeah, I think that's where Arsenal, maybe you can change your manager, but I just don't think a Conte or a Zidane, they might be stupid enough to take the job, but it's going to be a huge job. I don't look at, even if you're playing FIFA or Football Manager and you're thinking, I don't fancy doing the club I support. I fancy a bit of a challenge, a Premier League club, a bit of a sleeping giant like Arsenal. I'd actually look at Spurs squad and maybe Everton's squad and Leicester's squad and go, might not have the glamour of an Arsenal, but it's definitely got more components to work with. I just don't look at that Arsenal team and go, there's a lot to work with. I think people like Lacazette and Aubameyang are on their way out. Then they're getting older. No, they're not going to get any better. Leno is not a keeper I rate. Tierney, whilst I think he's good, I don't rate him as high as Arsenal fans do. They haven't got a right back, really. Their centre-backs just seem to be, a money pit of spending money on players that aren't good enough. Midfield, not got a lot to say about Elneny or Xhaka or anyone like that. I do like Smith Rowe. I do like Saka. I don't mind Pepe, but it's not enough. It's just not enough. There's nothing in... Arsenal used to have 8 and 9 players. I'd go, they're just underachieving. I don't think you're underachieving anymore. I just think you're not good enough.
And they don't even have one real superstar, one Thierry Henry, or even when they had Aubameyang to bail them out, he'd guarantee you X amount of goals. They've nothing. Like, I look at it now and you're hoping rather than expecting. Yeah. I think that's a key word there, hoping.
100%. Thanks everyone who's tuning in, by the way. I don't know what we're doing subscribers-wise, but please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. We're doing West Ham against Leicester tomorrow as well. So it's not the end of the weekend, although this is the last game of the Sunday games. But West Ham Leicester will be a good match tomorrow. Please subscribe. We're on the road to 507,000. We're only 300 away. So please subscribe. Bottom right-hand corner. Everyone's welcome on here. Vignesh says, Antonio Conte will not succeed at Arsenal. He needs an open checkbook. Arsenal will never give him that much money and Conte would leave. Well, he didn't fancy Spurs for that reason either, did he? I don't know. I don't know where Arsenal would go next. I think they'd actually be better accepting who they are, Craig, and going for someone like a Graham Potter. You know,
Yeah, I've seen you on Twitter actually saying, Potter's destined for great things, and I agree. I love the style of football that he plays. At Osterunds, he even, I think that's where he made his name, and that's where the English press certainly got to know him when Arsenal played Osterunds in the Europa League. And yeah, it's a good show. It is a very good show. I mean, I remember when they were mentioning Brendan Rodgers' name, thinking they were getting him out of Leicester. That made me laugh because Leicester is certainly a club going in the right direction. But yeah, Potter would certainly be. I could understand that more than the.
Brendan Rodgers might be the sort of manager that's stupid enough to do it, though. He might think, you've got to have a bit of an ego, and he might just think, you know what, it's a bigger club than Leicester. I quite fancy a big club again. I think it'd be an absolute stupid move to do it, but they might get lucky with a manager that gets a bit egotistical and goes, I'll do that. I mean, I'll tell you one manager who would do it. Jose would do it again. He may as well do the complete London collection.
You're calling it his club again, just walking around saying 3 all day, 3 times, so, 3.
He's managed Chelsea, Spurs, and Arsenal. May as well do it.
Sam Allardyce didn't do nothing. Just if there is a relegation battle, just thinking 2 steps ahead.
I just wonder where they'd go next, Arsenal, because I do think Arteta's going to get forced out. The fans have already, one of their prats had the T-shirts last Christmas, didn't he? They've already once the wheels are in motion. I've seen it at United. It will happen eventually. Once you get a certain proportion of the fan base vocally being Arteta out and it's accepted, it will start to. Do you think they have those T-shirts just bulk bought sitting in warehouses with a space for the new manager's name just waiting? Just the out part already done, all the sizes and all done. Just change the font a little bit for the new name. My God, those, it must be the easiest job in the world to run that channel. I mean, basically, how many fan cams can we put up with the word Arteta out in it? It's guaranteed loads of views, But I'm not Arteta out, doesn't matter. We'll dub it in. It's just. I just think it's naive fandom, really, to just say Arteta out. I do. There's no depth to it. Like when you have a conversation with somebody about something like global warming or, and they go, yeah, it's weather related. And yeah, do you want to tell me why? Nah, it just is, the world's flat. Why? I just think it is. I mean, I don't mind people having different opinions, but, provide a bit of depth. The Arteta out movement is the same as the Emery out movement. The Wenger one was the biggest mistake of their bloody lives. Like, they got greedy with Wenger. They thought, oh, we're now fighting for 4th. We should be fighting for titles. No, now you realise he was pulling off a bloody miracle every year, and now you can't get near 6th. But no, I don't disagree that Arteta's the right man or wrong man. I think that's a fine opinion. But what frustrates me is that, and it shouldn't frustrate me because I'm not an Arsenal fan, is that as an outsider.
It frustrates us because we have to listen to the crap on Twitter, though. That's why it frustrates us. Let's be honest.
I don't ever see many Arsenal fans coming out with an intelligent opinion. There are some. There's that penalty. Let's have a look.
Oh no! To me,
that's a penalty. That is. He puts his foot across.
He never clipped his own foot. Never.
No, that is a
left
penalty,
left leg into Reece James.
Reece James actually strides into him and trips him up. That is a penalty. That.
I can only imagine what Keane's saying there now.
It's a fair tackle. Nonsense. But no, what I was going to say is that I would like to hear an Arsenal fan come out with something like this. Maybe Arteta isn't the problem. Maybe Arteta is the problem. Maybe Arteta isn't good enough. But I'll tell you what's not good enough. Our ownership's not good enough because we have spent 120 million on what? And also that squad isn't good enough. And it's not been good enough for 6 years. And Arteta's not been here for 6 years. There are problems at that club. It's a bit like United, whether Ollie ends up being the right man or not. I still think the main problem at United is the way the club is run. And I think it comes across to me, although I don't deep dive into Arsenal, it does look to me like Arsenal are a club that is run badly and, pulls the wool over its fans' eyes.
I just don't understand. Like, what I would give to have seen Jurgen Klopp given 120 million quid this summer, I would have. And what we would have done with it as well. That's what you said. The recruitment there's no excuse for that. That is just inexcusable, the recruitment. I'll allow Ben White aside because I do think there's a centre-back there if you play him in a 3 alongside 2 taller centre-backs because his aerial dual success rate isn't great. But that aside, and that would also then allow Tierney to be at his best at I suppose, a wing back, so you're getting more out of him. But the rest of the recruitment, look, I just don't get it. I don't get how anybody thought Ramsdale was worth 30 million quid or whatever he's going to cost when they sold a better goalkeeper to Villa for half the price.
I think with if I was Arsenal manager, and I think where Arteta's gone wrong, and maybe why he's not the right man. But I always say this: if you've got the right owners, they'll bring the right manager in. Like, you know, if you think about when Man City, I think when they took over, I think Mark Hughes was in charge. He wasn't doing a terrible job, but they obviously clearly just didn't want him, and they got rid of him. I think they sacked him after a win. You know, I think Mark Hughes got sacked as Man City manager after a win, because the right owners will have their own ideas, and that's what Arsenal need to do. If I was brought in as the new manager of Arsenal, the first thing I would say, and this is where I think that Arteta does go wrong, is I would come out and say, this is going to take time. I'm going to need time. There's a lot. And I wouldn't even dig out previous managers, but I'd say, look at the last 3 managers. They've all been sacked for not making us a top 4 club, and that's because we're not a top 4 club. I'm going to get us there, but I'm going to need time. And I don't want to hear fans talking about this year we're going to get top 4. I don't want to hear that. I'll tell you every step of the way where I think we should be. But, you know, that would shut down a lot of the crap at Arsenal, because it would be like, well, the manager said we're not going to get top 4. You know, if I was Arteta, I would say, look, if we can get top 6 this year, it's a good season. But they don't, because they're scared to do that. But then you end up damaging yourself, because Arsenal fans were talking about top 4. And I'm like, you've got no chance. No chance.
I didn't even entertain the top 4 conversation. I mean, I did my predictions
for
the season.
Craig.
Yeah, that's like, usually you would say you would add another place or 2 maybe, because they're not in Europe. You're thinking, right, no fatigue, no traveling, none of this Thursday night nonsense. But I don't even give them that, to be fair. I don't even give them that in their advantage, because I think I have them 9th in my predicted league table, if I remember correctly.
I think I put them 5th or 6th, which they still could do, to be fair. But, you know, they're going to be coming from behind. Yeah, definitely. Do you see any way back in the second half?
No. Just no. Mm-mm. I can't even think of, like, I'm even allowing for a red card to Chelsea in my head here, and still trying to work a way through. I think we both agree they were hard done by on the penalty. I think we can both sit here and say, you know, they've been hard done by there, in our opinion.
Yeah, I agree. But and then, you know, you don't need that level of luck. You do need something a little bit better than that. But unfortunately, you know, I think the result for Arsenal was last week. That Brentford loss is the one that is going to cause the most damage, because when you look at it, losing to Chelsea and losing to Man City, if you know where Arsenal are at the moment in relation to their squad, forget their manager, you'd expect them to lose to Chelsea. Chelsea are the champions of Europe, and they're going to fight for the title. Man City next week are the champions of England, who got to the final of the Champions League. You expect to lose those 2 games. That Brentford result hurts, but I don't think it... I personally think Arsenal fans should have been chanting Arteta out before a ball was kicked, if they're chanting it now, because you're Arteta out because he lost away to Brentford, basically, because you were never going to beat Chelsea and Man City. It's like when we were watching Arsenal last week, we were both saying, well, that's Arsenal not getting any points until game 4 against Norwich. They're just not going to get it.
Yeah. And look, it sounds really harsh. It sounds like we're sitting here just slating Arsenal for the sake of it, but I think everything you've said there is pretty much factually spot on. And you know, it must be doubly frustrating though when you've got Daniel Ek sitting in the background there as an Arsenal fan.
Yeah,
you know,
with the money,
with money waiting to come in. But again, it's not just money; it would be his leadership and ownership of the club. And you would imagine he'd put the right people in place, wouldn't you? Because he wouldn't want to be known as the Spotify billionaire who came in, bought a club, and didn't bring it on or push it on. Whereas the Cronkies just seemingly don't care.
And I do agree with Philip Glover. He says, to be honest, Mark, this is the Ollie Outers logic at United. But if you look at what he's done and see where United are, he's done a great job. I agree. This is the thing. I had this when I'm not happy today. United have dropped. It feels like a loss. I hate draws as well, because, you know, you need to be winning if you want to be in a title race. And, I'd rather get a draw than a loss, but a loss magnifies the poor performance better than a draw does, because people will go, at least they didn't lose, but we may as well have lost because, in a title race, you shouldn't be losing to Southampton. But then you get people going Ollie out. And I do think that football, especially at Manchester United, and it's funny because the United stand gets accused of this, but it's never been this. It has sort of gone down that Arsenal sensationalist route where you don't win a game and then you've got to be Ollie out. And I had people in the chat today, people I respect, people who've been on the United stand chat for ages in the community saying, well, you're saying all this and then you're not Ollie out, you're a hypocrite. I'm like, hold on a minute. There's not Ollie in and Ollie out. There's not Arteta in and Arteta out. There's not Klopp in and Klopp out. They're extremes of moods. Like, Ollie in should be a constant if you're happy, but Ollie out should be, I've had enough. I'm never coming back from this. Get him out my club. I'm not at that point just because we drew with Southampton. And I think that does a disservice to football, really. We know Arsenal are tainted with that brush, and we know why Arsenal are tainted by that brush. And I don't want United to be tainted by that brush. It is absolutely fine to not be saying Ollie out tonight, but to be saying he has got massive questions to answer as a coach. And there are huge question marks above him, because today his team selection, his in-game management was abysmal, and his treatment of Donny van der Beek is appalling. I can say all those things with total and utter honesty, but it doesn't mean I've got to say Ollie out, because I think Ollie out's a very extreme thing to say. And I don't think we're at that point yet. But God, he could well be on the track to that, definitely.
I think what's lost in not just football fandom these days, but in general in society, is nuance. You are in one box or you're in the other box, and there's no grey area in the middle whatsoever.
And I hate that anyway about life. It's always that grey area in between that makes life what it is. That's where the debate resides.
Well, for instance, without me and you realizing that there's a grey area in life, I wouldn't be sitting here, because I made a statement a while ago that you could have just easily said, all right, you've made your bed, lie in it. But I came to you and said, I made a mistake on that one, mate, sorry. And we talked about it, and there's a nuanced area. I think that's when you can converse with somebody about anything, whether it be politics, football, you'll always find some middle ground. And it's just too sensationalist, as you said, and too pigeonholing to just go, out, somebody to blame. We deserve to win every single week. It's just not life. Life isn't like that.
It's like Yash says, Ollie deserves criticism, but I'm never saying Ollie out. That's an Arsenal thing to do. I think there might become a time when I do say Ollie out. I mean, I have actually said Ollie out before. After the Burnley game, I said, I've had enough. He's not the right man. I mean, this was 2 years ago, 18 months ago. And then we went and bought Bruno. And I was like, but this is the player I've been saying we need. I can't be Ollie out and then excited about a new signing. I've got to give him a chance. And I've never been Ollie out since. I was only Ollie out for that one little bit of time, and then Bruno came in. So, I can definitely be Ollie out, but I'm not that point at the moment. But this is a big season for him, and he's already... It's like when you're playing FIFA and you think you're going to win the league. You think you're going to win every game. You think you're going to be invincible. You lose a game and you go, I can probably avoid... I can allow one of them, but I can't lose again for a long time. And I think with United, that's a terrible result today. If we go and win our next 5, it becomes not a bad result. But, we can't afford to slip up again. And Wolves next week, I think we could slip up.
There was a good
Emirates
piece
does look a bit empty, yeah, Vignesh. Don't know what's going on there.
I think it's the rain. People leg that are probably staying in a little bit longer before half time. There was an interesting piece actually with Ian Wright. I don't know if you've seen it, where he was saying that he basically held his hands up about Solskjaer and some of the things, and said that he can now start to see what the plan was and what the identity is of that United team. And this was obviously before today's result, but at least that's admitting that there has been some progress there. I can't see much since Arteta has come to Arsenal to give me any hope that he's going to turn things around. I can't look at that Arsenal team and tell you what their identity or style of football is.
It's very difficult to... and please subscribe, by the way. We're on the road to 507,000. We're only 200 away now. So bottom right-hand corner to subscribe. Please get involved. Everyone's welcome on here. It's very difficult, I think, to see what Arsenal's plan is against Chelsea or Man City, because they're going to play a certain way. They're going to try and stop them. I do think there's a way back for Arteta. It's a long way back, though.
Yeah, I just don't think he's the man to do it. I honestly just don't think being Pep Guardiola's number 2 qualifies you to be able to dig a club out of this type of a situation that it's in.
Yeah, I agree.
Like if he went somewhere like, let's say roles were reversed and he went to Brighton from Manchester City, you would say, right, he will definitely get time there. He'll get time to get stamp his identity on that Brighton team. You can look at the way Potter has them playing immediately. Oh, Lukaku. No. Blocked.
You nearly had.
Yeah, you can look at Graham Potter and, you might think that they concede a bit too many at times, but you can see a style of football there was, here we go again. They're just picking them apart at will here already.
Just a couple of super chats. Mark, what's most likely? United winning the league or Arsenal finishing top 4? Man United winning the league, funnily enough, and I don't think that's going to happen. Mark, the fan forum were hammering Tony. Fair enough, it's their opinion, but we didn't create anything for him or Greenwood at striker. Oh, it's a shame I wasn't on the fan forum then. I'd have kicked some ass.
That's lazy for Martinelli. Look, the flag goes up. He's come back from an offside position. That's just lazy. That just sums Arsenal and the attitude up. Was it Smith Rowe or Martinelli? Somebody lazy.
And you spam. If anyone wants to know what the time is, we've just gone past 50 minutes. We're on 50 minutes and 5 seconds. Just about to hit 50 minutes and 10 seconds. So we're on 50 minutes and 12 seconds now. A lot of rain. That can sometimes help the team who's losing, turn it more into a battle.
Yeah, but for a battle, you want warriors, and we still go back to square one, don't we? I'd still back those Chelsea boys to grind it out over any of these Arsenal fellas. Xhaka should be that warrior. Xhaka should be the one in there, or Xhaka, telling them what to do. But I've never seen any leadership with Xhaka personally, and I don't understand. I don't understand why he was given a new contract. I don't rate him one bit.
I don't think Arsenal fans wanted him to get one either. I think they were very hopeful that Xhaka was going to go, and they were in for. Who were they in for? The chat will tell me. Who were Arsenal in for? They wanted
Maddison.
Go. No, it wasn't Maddison because he's an attacking midfielder. I can't remember who they were looking at. Oh, it's frustrating. I can't think. Basuma, I think. I think it might have been Basuma. Locatelli. They were looking at Locatelli. They were never getting Locatelli. He was always.
I'm surprised Basuma's still where he is, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I'd take him. You'd probably take him.
Oh, good strike. Good strike. Mendy, bit of movement. Yes. I said this at the very start. He could absolutely do a Gini Wijnaldum job in a midfield at a top club. Oh, deflection as well, to be fair to Mendy.
If he went to Liverpool or Arsenal, he'd be a good signing. He should be coming to United, but we're not even bloody looking. But yeah.
Be interesting if they could pull one back here.
Cross comes in, headed away.
By Lukaku.
No, Ramsdale's a weird signing for Arsenal, though. Who spends 25 million on a backup goalkeeper? It's the sort of thing Man City do. Like, they need so many players. Why spend 25 million? There must be some shitty sort of backup goalkeeper you could get for free. Why would you spend 25 million on Ramsdale? It makes no sense.
I'd say Sheffield United can't believe their luck, because I couldn't believe it when they bought him to replace Dean Henderson from Bournemouth. Yeah, I'd say they can't believe their luck. When that phone call came in or whatever it was, I'd say they had to put it on mute while they jumped up around the ground, laughing and rolling around, because he's nowhere near the level needed.
I don't understand why you do that. If you've got money coming out your arse, and we've got everything we need. We've got so much squad depth. I know. Let's spend 25 million on a backup goalkeeper. Great. It's just such an Arsenal thing to do. We need everything. Let's buy a backup goalkeeper and let's spend 25 million on it. It's like the guy who goes to work, wakes up in the morning, isn't it? And he's got no suit, no pants, no shirt. He's basically going to work naked apart from a pair of shoes. Gets a bit of money. I know, I'll buy a pair of shoes. Like,
all that could have been a bit funnier was if they had gone back to Villa and paid like 45 million for Martinez again, and that would have been peak Arsenal.
NMCC says, I know it's not United stand, but only positive from today is Ollie must start Varane and Sancho. I know they wouldn't have changed the game today, but Ollie can't have played well. Excuse, no way. Fred plays surely. I think Fred will play the next game. I don't know what is more beautiful, Craig's shirt or Craig's bod in that shirt and his face, says Daniel Kirk. Bloody hell.
Geez, Sabrina's created a new account, clearly.
Yeah, well, I don't think she say that, would she?
No, definitely not. You know where
What's
too well,
up, is
mate.
it anyway?
It's LAFC.
Is that like black and gold? It look quite, it looks quite
nice. It's a nice shirt. It's a few seasons old, to be fair. It even has YouTube on it. Do you know what I mean? On brand and everything. But yeah, I'm a bit of a chav, mate. I just like football shirts and spotted this one over in the States and grabbed it.
Cujo says Chelsea have got a 70 million backup. That's a bit different though. They paid 70 million for Kepa. He's crap, so they had to buy another one. I mean, I constantly hear how great Leno is from Arsenal fans. I actually don't understand. If anybody can explain to me why Arsenal needed to spend 25 million on Ramsdale when they're not going to drop Leno anyway, I don't know.
That could have bought Houssam Aouar.
Yeah,
that money, and he would have given them a little something going forward. I like the sign there, get well soon, Jonesy, from one of the Chelsea fans, obviously one of their own.
Or they're taking the piss out of United with Phil Jones. But yeah, I think Chelsea in this game will have loved it. They're not in any gear higher than third, I don't think. Sometimes fourth. But the interesting thing is it's sort of a piss take, Arsenal, really, because they have got a massive advantage, Arsenal, this season, that they won't be playing in Europe. They'll basically be playing one game a week. But at the start of the season,
Mark, they'll be losing one game a week. So just to correct you.
But the start of the season, everybody's playing one game a week and Arsenal can't find a win. There will be a time where it's advantageous to be Arsenal because they'll only play one game a week, is what I'm trying to say. But at the moment, so is everybody else. Although Arsenal have got a midweek game, they're playing in the Carabao Cup because they're that crap. They actually go, because they're not in Europe, they start around early. So they are.
Did that shock you this week when you looked at the fixtures? Because I was like, what? Carabao Cup's on?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that was taking place this week.
If you're in Europe, it doesn't take place. But if you're Arsenal, you are playing in the Carabao Cup this week. So well done.
But if you're Spurs,
win. You might get a goal of the month now.
If you're Spurs, you get to try and fight back from some second-rate Portuguese team from 1-0 down on Thursday. That's important as well.
I think they need to get knocked out. I thought Nuno was trying to be clever there and get knocked out on purpose, to be honest.
Yeah, it was a very weakened team when I looked at the 11 that Spurs put out.
Mount shoots wide. I mean, just to anyone in the chat, if you were Spurs, I actually perceived it that they were trying to get knocked out on purpose and I applauded it. And I don't know whether I've read that wrong, but would you do that, Craig? It's this Conference League. There's a lot of games in it, and it's not even the Europa League. I'll just get knocked out.
There was a day where I had to contemplate that in Liverpool at one point in the season, genuinely. And I was of the mindset of, is there any way we can just not accept the invitation? Are we legally obliged to play in this competition?
Yeah, I would just get knocked out. Put out a really weakened team. I mean, Callum says, yeah, they're definitely putting a weakened team out. I would put a really weakened team out and get knocked out on purpose, especially considering they've won their first two games. It's
arcane. Didn't just to teach them a lesson on Thursday.
But, you know, they've won their first two games, play one game a week like Arsenal, and be fresh for every game. Take the Carabao Cup and the FA Cup seriously and the Premier League and don't worry about none of this Europe shit. There won't be a lot of money in it either.
Oh, you know, Mourinho's gone full out to win it with Roma, though. No surer thing than he wants that trophy.
And Viraj says, Mark, it's the semi-final, so even if we win, we'll play the final against Roma. It's not the semi-final, is it? I don't know how that works. Where do you think Ronaldo will end up if he leaves Juventus, says Anna And I don't know. We were talking about that before, Craig. Where would you say if he's going to go? I mean, he's obviously trying to sort something out. The Madrid return seems the most obvious, but then he sort of said no to that.
But also with Madrid, would you, and I said this about Mbappe as well, sign for a club that, in good conscience, your agent can say to you that they will be definitely in the Champions League for the next few years? We don't know what way the court in Luxembourg will rule and what punishment FIFA may dish out. So on top of that, is there anything to be gained from him going back to Real Madrid? What is he going to prove? Okay, win the league with Real Madrid, because we know they're not going to win the Champions League with what they have, even with Ronaldo. So like you, I'm intrigued to see who the hell it is he could be going to. Wide. Sorry, I thought that was in. Should have scored.
Good chance for Holding. Yeah, he should have scored. He should have scored. Comes back from the corner. A header from the 6-yard. I mean, he's not far off, to be fair. He's almost headed it too well.
Yeah, and Mendy's body was going the opposite direction. He was never getting his feet changed in time. Unlucky, to be fair, from Holding, but probably should have done better.
I mean, Gohan says last dance with United. I mean, I will talk. I'm going to do an 8 o'clock show, just a quick 8 o'clock show tonight. So I will probably talk about Ronaldo on that, because I don't want to talk about just Ollie. But the reality is, United don't actually need Ronaldo and actually, I think it'd be a bad move. We don't create anything. So.
What I seen today when you guys were playing, you were swarming all over Southampton for the part of the game.
15 minutes.
I think I turned on just after you'd scored the equaliser.
Yeah, for 20 minutes we were all over him. It would be nice. I mean, look. I don't know what's happening with Man City. They need a striker. They might just go. Yeah.
Do you remember the days, and these were genuine days, where there was conversations around Tuchel going to Arsenal? Genuine days where it could have happened before he'd made his PSG move.
Yeah, I do.
I'd say he goes home every night and says a prayer of thanks that he held off. Captain's
Daniel
armband
says,
on.
because of the earlier game, I think I'll take Pie's advice later. Yeah, if you know, you know. Do you know what Pie Face's advice is after a bad day?
No. I did see him give him 1-0 socks yesterday, though. I was loving that. Seen the video of him giving it 1-0.
It's gone very well, that episode with Pie on my channel.
What's the advice?
The life of Pie.
Wouldn't know, mate. Again, I'm in the B team. I'm just a lad that puts the petrol in the engine in the driving with. I've murdered on my timeline by Jack Mate the other day as well, so I might as well just go dig myself a hole now and live under a tree.
I did see that. Not one out, yeah. That's what he said. After a bad day.
He's right, yeah.
What did he say?
A lot.
Put a good film on, have a takeaway, not one out. That was his advice.
Sounds like a good piece of advice to me. Nothing wrong with it.
Please subscribe, by the way, bottom right-hand corner. Still half an hour to go in this game. It would be interesting if Arsenal got a goal back. I always find that quite funny when their fans have obviously printed the T-shirt furious and then the team come back and get a draw. It's like, what are you moaning about now?
Can't believe we only drew a home to Chelsea from 2-0 down.
I think we both like Arsenal to get a draw here.
Yeah, that was the chat beforehand. They were saying, surely you'd want an Arsenal win. I think, yeah, what I want and what reality are, though they're two different things. They've had chances, though. I mean, that Holding header, and they've brought Aubameyang on here now as well, so penalty shout as well. So we can't say they haven't had a few opportunities. It's not like Chelsea have been battering Leno here either, but they've just been far better in possession, I think.
Oh,
look at that now.
He should have scored there. That's a bit poor by Lukaku. He should have hit that first time.
But you see the confidence in him again. Give me the ball. I want to play it here.
Yeah.
No faffing about. He knows what he's at. You know what his strengths are. And the players around him will eventually know what balls he wants, when he wants them, and how quickly. So if this is him not fully acclimatized to the Chelsea way, then I'm dreading the thoughts of him actually settling in and really hitting the ground running.
Well, Jake Crane says, will Brighton do what West Ham did last season? I don't think so. I think that's a bit of a stretch. I think Brighton are always happy if they stay up. That's just my opinion, but I think it's very difficult for them to do anything more than that. Just to give
good ball. Hang on. Keeper's out. Sorry.
Just to give Arsenal a bit of hope, after the international break, when you've got 0 points, you play in Norwich at home. So, everybody can beat Norwich. So I'd expect you to win that. And then you've got Burnley away, who are doing shit. So you could win that. And then you're playing Spurs. So you might get 2 wins out of your next 3 games after Man City. Then they've got Brighton, who will probably beat them. And
got to give Mendy credit there, actually. Great sweeper keeper. Crystal
Palace. The trouble is, Arsenal have become that club now that you look at who they're playing and there's not really... like when Man City are playing or when Liverpool are playing, I look at the fixtures and go, well, they might not lose for another 6 weeks. Because, when Liverpool are playing Palace, they're going to win. Brighton, they're going to win. You expect it. When Arsenal are playing Palace and Brighton, you're like, could get a draw.
When I woke up today, and I did wake up late, I looked at the United game, you were 1-0 down. It was just before half-time, or just after half-time, and I thought, I'll check back in 15 minutes, they'll have equalised. That, I knew that there was a goal coming. I wouldn't have the same sense if Arsenal were playing a lot of the time, to be fair. And with City, we both predicted 4 and 5 this week.
About this guy, Steve Round. He was at United with Moyes. I don't rate him. He's been at Arsenal. I think he was with Arsenal. I don't know whether Arteta brought him in or not, but I don't rate him much.
There's another injury for Tierney.
Yeah. Injury prone and overrated. Not a bad combo.
Here's Nuno Tavares on. Benfica, wasn't it? He came in from?
Yeah. Well, they've got a point from the second half, Arsenal. They might win the second half. Win the second half.
If they can win 2-1, then that'll be 3 points from me in the battle of the 2 presenters.
I don't know what I
have
said.
This down. I had to check mine earlier on just to make sure. I had a 2-1 Chelsea for me.
What did you have for Wolves?
You know what? I genuinely don't know, mate. I know I had you guys to win, so I know I lost that one. But
yeah, I did.
Wolves 1-1. I had a 1-1 on that one.
I think I went with a draw on that.
Got a nice little 2-0 with Brighton last night, though. That made me happy.
What did I do? That I can't remember. Brighton. Who was it against? Brighton and
Watford.
Yeah, I might have gone with the Brighton win. I think I went 3-1 in this. I can't remember because yours are all written down on the video, but mine are in verbal, so I'll have to go and listen to it again.
Yeah, the only reason I still have mine is because I wrote it in my notes on my iPhone before I sent it to you on WhatsApp, so I still have them in the notes. Here's a free kick. Alonso Mount over it. Interesting position for Lukaku here.
Ollie could get Ronaldo, Messi, and Prime Rooney and still bench them because they are not ready, says M. Parker. Yeah, I mean, yeah. I think we're all on that boat today. If you're a United fan,
I always feel very weird in these type of conversations, whether it be Arsenal fans, United fans, whatever, because I always have very little to complain about with Klopp. The only thing I think I ever really moan about is substitutions and the timing of them.
I'd love to be in that situation, mate. I really, really would. Sounds fantastic.
I was nervous yesterday, though. 12:30, Burnley. That in one sentence never sits well with any football fan. Playing Burnley at 12:30, it just always makes me a bit nervous.
I have had a crap fancy Premier League week. I have absolute shit. I've still got Sancho in there. He's done nothing. I had Salah captain. Tony's still not done anything. I'm going to have to wildcard it this week, I think.
I went a slightly the same direction, although I'm not pulling up the rear of the fighting the relegation places in Tog Dad's league like you could be, Goldbridge, last I checked.
Oh, I
But
will be. Yeah.
I went for the not the
Cool.
I went for the other one this week, not the wild card one, the free hit. I used free hit this week.
What does that do?
It basically means you can make as many changes as you want for 1 week, and then it reverts back to your previous team the next week.
Oh, I've never heard of that one. That's how long I've not played it, you see. Good tackle, that.
Yeah, great stop.
Arsenal have been better second half. Got to give him a bit of credit. I think a lot of that's to do with Chelsea feeling that the game is over. Good tackle by Aspilicueta. He's a good player.
What a signing he has been for that club, and value, and the amount of managers that have been there. They've all backed him. They've all seen his leadership. I really do always have a lot of time for Aspilicueta.
Look at that strength by Lukaku. Just bullied him.
Or Drogba. I called him Drogba. God. Sorry, that's what I thought I was watching. Peak Drogba.
Yeah, he's just too strong. Reece James, corner.
Deflection.
You dread to think how many goals Lukaku's going to score in this Chelsea team. It's if he stays fit, he's going to be deadly.
How does it make you feel, though, as a United fan, seeing Lukaku in this physical shape, this mental shape, just full of confidence, oozing confidence? Is there any what ifs or ill feelings there? Not ill feelings towards the player, but
I actually agree that with Manchester United selling him. I think it will be another stick to hit Solskjaer with, which I get, because at the end of the day, he's become a different player. He's physically different, and his game is different. At United, he was very frustrating because his hold-up play was... I mean, look, they can bring a player like Kante on. I forgot.
I was just thinking, that's ridiculous.
I even forgot that Kante was a Chelsea player. I was like, oh, yeah.
He starts in 95% of the teams in the world, probably. Yeah. Kante.
Yeah, that is a ridiculous depth. But yeah, no, I think Lukaku is going to be a fantastic signing. And he is one of the best strikers in the world. But at United, it just didn't work because we wanted him to be part of the build-up play. And at Chelsea, because of the way they play, all the build-up play is going to go on behind him. They just want a goal scorer. So they'll just say to him, hold it up and get in the box. And it'll work. I think at United, it just didn't work.
Not a bad
Vortex.
substitution.
Here's one for you. Did you see TalkSport was saying that they would take Greenwood over Salah because Salah is selfish, even though he's created the most chances and big chances in the league since he joined?
Don't even get me started on Goldstein and that nonsense that he came out with. I mean, I said it on Twitter. I'll repeat it again. There are some platforms, some channels, some people that purposely say stupid shit to get it clipped up because they know it'll go viral and it will push the right buttons.
They're 100%. They're even worse this season. Like, people mention it on the show.
Oh, hopefully he's okay. Sorry, just an injury here. He's moving. Hopefully he's okay.
Who is it? Reece James.
Yeah, I think it looks like he'd be okay. He's moving anyway. Yeah, it was terrible what Goldstein said. It was ridiculous. And like he contradicted himself probably 5 times in his own little monologue. I love that Darren Bent was actually calling him out on a fair play on that one. Like, but look, I'll never slag off somebody for liking a United player or saying that they take Greenwood or whatever, but to not understand and appreciate what Salah has done properly and address it in a straightforward adult manner is just nothing but bitterness or hype looking for clicks. One or the other. It's just stupidity.
Mate, people mention it on the United stand, and I actually say I'm not going to discuss it because it's done, so we will talk about it. That they've won. The minute we talk about it, they've won. That's what they want. They don't care that they get ridiculed. They're doing it because they want people to go, did you hear what he said? He doesn't like me anyway, Andy Goldstein.
He obviously doesn't know who the hell I am, but I'd still never have a conversation with him or appear on that.
He used to be all right with me, and then he just suddenly called me out on social media and called me a Forest fan. And I was just like, that's really poor from a,
If he called me out, I'd just tell him I'll go and slap the head off him the next time I see him. I wouldn't none of this PR bullshit.
With him when I see him next, because he thinks he's bloody some sort of Poundland Liam Gallagher. But the reality is, I've always been all right with him. And he said something about Forest fan because I just think it's just I don't mind people saying it because I know it's a load of bollocks. But I think when you're actually somebody in the public eye, have better conversation or banter than that. But it's probably because I'm the best gold, you see.
Here's the you are one half of Golden, so I'll allow it. Here's the thing, like, I don't mind people having an opinion that goes against other people if I feel deep down they genuinely stand over that opinion. If I think he really believes that genuinely, but I don't think he does.
Yeah,
because of the way he contradicted himself.
I think. I mean, having been on a couple of these shows before and knowing how produced it is, yeah.
I couldn't sell my soul like that, mate. I couldn't do it. Well, I like the freedom of being able to say what I want.
Aren't they? They're being paid to do a job. That's why I don't want to do mainstream media. But I've worked with people whose obsession is to get into the mainstream media because they actually make out that they're about the fans, but they're not about the fans because they actually value mainstream media, mainstream media is egotistical. If you want to be in the mainstream media, that's because you want everyone to sit and watch you, at the click of a button. What we do, you have to appreciate your audience because they can go.
Absolutely, it's a very competitive market. Yeah. It's not like
you've got to respect and appreciate and work and work with your audience. I mean, the disrespect Salah gets is comical at this point. I don't know how anyone could say Hazard, even when he was at Chelsea, is better. I'm a United fan. I don't like Liverpool, but I've never understood why people can't appreciate how good Salah is. I always put Salah in my fantasy Premier League team because I just think he's so relentless at getting goals and assists. I mean, he scored yesterday, but it was offside, wasn't it? But he's, I know Bruno had a good week last week, but he's not had one this week. And I think he will have games where he doesn't do anything because the team doesn't suit him at times because we don't move the ball quick enough. But
yeah, as you said, I think you nailed it a minute ago when you said as soon as we start talking about them, they've won and the stupid opinions. I think that's a very fair point.
Mate, those people who are talking on the radio or on a TV station, they're not talking their own opinions. Somebody spent the weekend analysing the topics and going, if you say this will get us loads of interaction. That's basically how it works. That's why mainstream media is very difficult to what we do because this is not scripted.
Yeah, but you see, I go to bed at night and I wake up in the morning and I'm able to...
Slips it into Reece James. Oh, no. I thought they were going to score there, but...
Still Mount. Ball in.
Oh, what a save! Leno.
That is fair play. Fair play.
He saved it. It was a great cross by, I think it was Mount. Lovely header by Lukaku.
Was he saying was there a handball there from Holding? I might have. No, there wasn't. Great save. Great save.
Arsehole.
Yeah, great piece of goalkeeping.
That Lukaku's fantasy Premier League team, but yeah, he's gonna make hay in this team big time.
Yeah, what I was trying to say to you a second ago was I can go to bed at night. You can go to bed at night. We can get up in the morning. And we
not
can
together.
Definitely not together. No. And look ourselves in the mirror and go, yeah, okay, I came out today. I spoke what I spoke about, and I spoke my truth. Whether people agree or disagree with it, that's fair. But yes, there are certain things you've got to do. We all want to drive traffic. We all want to get clicks, but you have to do that with some level of humility and a level of honesty, or else you won't have the audience because the audience won't stick around. There's reasons why some channels do well, and it's not because of the endearing nature of the hosts. Let's say, as an example, it's because it's either car crash or people just come to laugh. And I just like having fun. I would never go mainstream media. It's never been something that interested me because the money has never been the driving factor in any of this for me. It's been about the community, the interaction, the fun, and the freedom.
It's a weird thing, Vignesh. He says Lukaku, talking about Lukaku. I actually like Lukaku in a Chelsea shirt and an Inter Milan shirt than I ever did in a Man United shirt, which is weird. I never felt. I just never, with Lukaku, I just never liked him in a United shirt. Didn't dislike him, but just didn't feel like it worked.
And remember as well, this is a Lukaku. He's come back from an ACL. I was at the game. He did his ACL when we beat Everton 4-0. So he's come back from serious injury in his career as well to still... You've got to credit the man. You just have to. He really has. He deserves
he didn't
the move.
hit at United. There was just something that wasn't quite right. But he did score a lot of goals. I remember him getting, I think he got 4 goals in a week. And, you know, the season that Ollie... Because he didn't really play under Ollie that long. Mourinho got the sack in the December. Ollie was interim. And then...
another injury.
He was gone. He only played under Ollie for about 6 months.
And if I remember correctly, there was always complaints about his first touch.
Yeah.
When he was at you guys.
But Chelsea will play in a different way to the way United played. You know, as you see with United, it's slow tempo football. It's all about the build-up. We don't create many chances for our striker either. So Lukaku, if you think about a team that's a slow build-up team that doesn't create many chances for its striker, not going to work with a player like Lukaku who thrives on chances. So
I tell you what, this has flown by. 10 to go.
Yeah. Yeah, it sounds actually, because you know, good play by Arsenal. Who've they got? Let's have a look. Let's give Arsenal fans some good news here. Don't say that we don't give you any news. You are bottom of the league, but you're not bottom of the league because Norwich have conceded more than you. So that's a bit of good news. And here's an even better bit of news for Arsenal fans. You're playing West Brom on Wednesday night in the Europa Cup, not the Europa Cup, Dream On, Carabao Cup. So you might get a goal of the month. It's all on that game. Because if you don't score against Man City, goal of the month's cancelled. You've got to score against West Brom. I mean, West Brom might beat you as well, but, you know.
You might get a consolation.
Look at Lukaku then. Bit of skill as well. Nice little ball. Oh, Leno. I think he got enough of the ball there. You know, I think he pushed the ball, so I think he's safe on that one. I don't think he'll be checking that for a penalty. Arsenal, it's not over for you. West Brom on Wednesday night in the Carabao Cup qualifying round.
I love the way you threw that in. Well played.
It's not the Carabao. It's not the qualifying round. It's not the... Well, it is, because for me, no cup actually is the proper round until everybody enters. It's like the FA Cup starts in the 3rd round because that's when everybody's in. Like, you're not in it.
Yeah, and the only interesting parts about the FA Cup before that is the beautiful stories like a #United going far or something like that endears us. You don't get points if you're a championship club, you know, getting to the 2nd or 3rd round of the FA Cup. Oh, Ziyech on for Mount.
Wednesday. Ziyech as well, another good player. Of course, they've still got Pulisic. I think he's got COVID at the moment. I'm not even roasting Arsenal. I mean, look, United have dropped 2 points today. I'm not roasting Arsenal. I never expected them to win today. So it is what it is.
It could have been a lot worse, though. I did fear for them early doors after that early Lukaku goal that this could have been 3, 4, 5.
I think if Chelsea had wanted it, they could have gone for more. But Tuchel's not really that sort of coach, is he? He does like to be defensively organised as well.
Seven and a half to go. Unless Arsenal get something here quickly, you'd say this one's done and dusted.
I do think Southampton are relegation candidates as well. Yeah, just reading the chat there. I do. I don't think Southampton are going to do very well this season. So, yeah, even more disappointing from United. I'm not going to pretend it wasn't.
I always enjoy playing Southampton and Brighton, and used to enjoy playing Bournemouth. They were always teams that were open and you knew you were going to be able to stretch and have a run at and properly attack with. And I always back Liverpool in those type of games against teams that are open. It's the ones that sit deep that we often struggle with.
Yeah, we're doing West Ham Leicester tomorrow. Tune in, 8 o'clock. That's an interesting game because they both won their opening games well. Both had reasonably good seasons last year. Very hard game to call. I can't remember how I called that. I think I went with West Ham to win, but I didn't go with any conviction.
I just glanced over 2-2.
Yeah,
I think that's going to be a very enjoyable game under the lights.
Good Monday night football game. Make sure you tune in tomorrow night for that. I think it will be a good one. Yeah.
Can't believe there's an international break. I hate this September international break. 3 games into a season and the players are being sent off again.
October as well. There's 3. I can't stand. I don't like international break. I don't mind. I enjoyed the Euros, but I can't stand international breaks. Sentry wants to give Reece James man of the match. I agree. Goal and assist. You can't say any better than that. Ziyech.
This is like a training exercise now, isn't it? You're just not having the ball.
Just another good English right back as well, Reece James. I don't know why he didn't pass that into Lukaku there, actually, Aspilicueta. The break's 2 weeks, Penguin. It just breaks it up. It's like, because then you come back and I think there's only 3 games again before there's another international break.
I've been clever, though. I've booked breaks during both of them. I won't lie. I've been clever this time. I've tried to fill them with some...
Yeah, there's 4 games next time. 4 games, and then it's 30th. 4 games again. So the next 2, we get 4 Premier League games before the next international break. The good thing about this international break, though, is that the transfer window closes on the Tuesday. So that gives us the first 2 days of interest. And then England playing on the Thursday. We've got a couple of decent games, actually.
Oh, I saved it.
So that would have been an assist for Lukaku as well.
Are we going full on yellow tie on the 31st?
I don't know. I hope United do something with the midfield, but I don't think we're going to do anything. I think it's just going to be all about maybe Ronaldo now. Harry Kane to Spurs. Is that still happening? I don't know with Harry Kane. Not sure. Anybody know what's happening with that?
Is your missus okay with the fact that family life, everything, holidays, everything revolves around the football season? I've been very fortunate, and my missus is as long as there is a family break, she's always happy. When doesn't matter when it is. She often used to wonder, for instance, why we go away every October.
I'd like to go away in like June or grab but because you have kids, you have to wait until the school holidays, which is just when the season's about to start again. So it's difficult, yeah. I mean, the ideal time when you've got kids is to go away in the school holidays, isn't it? But
you guys have it much worse, though. We get away with. We've got 20 days to play around with in Ireland with kids. So we can take our kids out of school for 20 days a year for illnesses or whatever before any questions start getting asked. You guys get fined, don't you? If you were to pull your kids out and go to Spain for a week, you'd have to pay a fine to the school or something, wouldn't you?
Yeah, it would. There's only 4 minutes to go now, and it's a corner.
Arteta.
Poor old Arteta.
His post-match analysis should be interesting. He'll lie and say he see a lot of good things he likes and yada yada. Oh, Werner's coming on now. So that's it. It's full on this peak banter now. They don't care anymore. They're letting loose Chelsea.
Cross comes in. Another corner, I think. Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to going and having a nice hot bath. It's been a long afternoon.
Yeah, I felt that way yesterday because it was up a ridiculous o'clock for me, which is like 11 a.m. Come 9, I was yawning. For me, that's, my body clock usually I'm on to have my dinner at midnight. Here we go. Timo Werner's come on. I think he'll have a better season this year. 1, less pressure on him, and 2, second season. I just think he was very unlucky at times last year.
Thanks, Jacob. Thanks, appreciate that. Says his mental health's been struggling and you've helped out in the last year or so. So thanks very much for that. I think that, I hear that a lot. I mean, I don't really, I don't understand it, but I'll take it. I think that these shows do help people, which is good. And I'm, appreciate the feedback.
It definitely works both ways as well. We can be having a crappy day sometimes, Mark, and you come on and do a stream and you come off it in better form or with a smile on your face.
Or you can be having a bad day because your team's dropped 2 points and come onto the stream with Smug Craig and make you feel even worse.
That's true, yeah. That's true. But then again, you remember you've been on the happy hour twice and everything's okay again.
Yeah. There's always a win. I don't know with Werner. I just don't see how he's going to get much football at Chelsea. But they will be playing a lot of football, so... And at the moment, he's playing on the same pitch as Lukaku, so he can play in behind, actually, which I think might suit him a bit better. It's a shame with Werner. Right. I often wonder with Werner if he'd gone to Liverpool, whether he'd have been a different player, because I think he would have done. Because if he'd played in the Firmino role, it's not so dependent on goals, is he?
Yeah, that's where I would have seen him. He started his career as a wide player as well.
Yeah.
So I would have seen him either coming in from drifting in to cover Salah or Mane left side, or playing in the Firmino hole that Jota plays in now. So, but look, he can't complain, can he? To be fair, he's already won the Champions League. He's surrounded by great players there, and it's up to himself to prove it now. Pressure's on himself.
There's not a lot for Arsenal in this second half to be positive about, because, you can say, well, we've only conceded 2. We've not conceded. But Chelsea have been going through the motions and Arsenal still haven't been able to really push it. So, yeah, Lukaku, probably my man of the match. I'd agree with the chat. No, I wouldn't. No,
I was just going to say, you've given 2 of them out now.
Yeah, no, I think Lukaku's been good. But, yeah, Reece James has got a goal and an assist. I'd give it to Reece James. Yeah. They're joint bottom of the league, John Wick, Arsenal, because Norwich have got a worse goal difference. So technically they're not bottom, but yeah, 0 points.
Be interesting after they've played Man City next week what the goal difference might be.
The funny thing is about Arsenal is that, I think in general, people are getting a bit bored of it. Like somebody just said, they'll be queuing up for the fan cams. But what are you watching for other than to... I mean, I don't get the angle anymore. I don't even get what the angle is for the Arsenal fan. What are you going to shout about? You lost 2-0.
I don't get the insight either. Like there's no great insight coming from this. It's just rage.
Get rid of the manager. Why? Because we lost to Chelsea 2-0. But why get rid of the manager for that? Because we're Arsenal. What year is it? What do you mean? Well, it's not 2004. 2021. You finished 8th for the last 2 years. Your squad's not good enough. Your owners aren't good enough. Why are you shocked that you've lost 2-0? So I'd have more respect for somebody if they just went, well, at the end of the day, we were never going to win that game. That's the level we're trying to get to, but it's going to take years. It doesn't get you massive views though, does it? Because it's honest. I don't feel like shocked or laughing at Arsenal anymore. There was a time where this result, Chelsea beating them 2-0 at the Emirates, would have been a bit of a shock. It's not a shock now.
Oh, it's definitely not a shock. No. Yeah, I agree.
I don't think they've got a decent squad at all, Ahmed. Not comparable to any other team in the top between 5th and 10th. That's it. It's over anyway. Lukaku scores. I told you I might get my golden boot tip right this year. Went with Werner last year. Just I don't know.
I've gone for Salah. I've been a bit biased this year. I went for Salah.
We're gonna end it there because I am actually gonna go and have some chill out time. I'm knackered now, but it was a good result for Chelsea, 6 from 6. And next week it's the big one. It's Liverpool against Chelsea. It's 6 against 6. 6 points and 6 points. The perfect record.
Yeah, I'm already nervous about it and have a whole week of build-up to do.
I think it's a good game. I think that'll be a good game.
It's going to be a belter of a game. It is. There'll be a lot of bad language used on my end anyway, so thankfully I won't be on here with you because, yeah, you would have been demonetized in about 20 minutes.
I'm looking forward to it. Look, we're back tomorrow with Leicester against West Ham. Thanks for popping on, Craig.
Pleasure as always. Thank you guys for having me.
You doing anything on Anfield Agenda tonight?
Yeah, I will be slipping straight in into your slipstream, 8:45 after your 8 o'clock show with a bit of a roundup on yesterday, a bit of a look ahead to what may or may not happen in the transfer window.
Nice one, mate. And I'll be on United Stand, 8 o'clock. So thanks everyone for tuning in. Make sure you subscribe to this channel on the way out, bottom right-hand corner, and we'll see you for Liverpool against West Ham. No, Leicester against West Ham tomorrow at West Ham. That's tired.